Hello everyone, if you can hear me, please say Dark Souls. And that way I'll know that you're playing Dark Souls instead of watching the stream. It will be very helpful. That was Zeramus was yesterday. I think you are on a different time zone. Alright, so we got some Dark Souls in here. Okay, good. Alright, so today we're doing yet again some more Final Fantasy IV translation comparisons. Today is actually day 16 by my count now. 16 days of doing this, it's a lot. But it's been fun and educational for me, and I hope it has been for you too. We're probably about halfway through the game at this point, maybe a little less than half. Chat, if you guys have any thoughts on it, let me know. I feel like we're going to hit at least 40 episodes, 50 at most. But we're on 16 at the moment. Okay, today what I would like to do is finish going through Agart, the town. We just have one place left to do in there, but it's kind of like more complicated than usual. Then we're going to go to the Toroia Town, the village place. There's a lot of talking there. Then we're going to go to the castle, and there's some cutscenes there. So there's a lot of text there. And if we're able to do it, we'll go to the Black Chocobo Forest, and then we'll go to the magnetic cave. I would really love to be able to beat that magnetic cave today. So I want to not do a whole lot of intro stuff today, but we'll see. All right, that's the plan. Let's see. The first thing I wanted to share is something I just remembered last night. The other day I showed off that I'm in the credits, like the official credits for Zero Wing now. Turns out I'm also was in Resident Evil 7. A friend of mine, who worked at Capcom, was part of this team, and so a bunch of their friends ended up on this like just random note. Apparently, Poe's on here on this list too in Resident Evil 7. She's Heidi. She has turned apparently. I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound good. Then Clyde is under that, and that's me. But I died. I'm dead. That's too bad. Underneath there is Lindsay, and she's turned. And Lindsay is Chewie, if you know Chewie. She helped work on the Mother 3 translation, and she's just another one of our group. And a bunch of other people in our group are on there too. You even see Reed in there. Reed has turned. Oh no. All right. I'm not really a Resident Evil guy, so I don't know the context of any of this, so that's probably why I died. All right. The next thing I want to show is how they marketed Final Fantasy IV on TV commercials in Japan and then in North America. So first we'll start with the Japanese commercials. There's like 3 of them. If you haven't seen them before, you might be surprised. So here we go. I apologize if the audio gets kind of loud, so I'll be quiet. There you go. You want to get a Final Fantasy IV now? You gotta get it, guys. So that's the last one of that one. But it's kind of fitting because well, you can see my recommendations on there. Kind of fitting because we're going to be doing a bunch of Chocobo stuff today. All right, so that's how they marketed Final Fantasy IV in Japan at the time. Final Fantasy was such a big deal at the time that they didn't need to like try too hard, you know? They just kind of did silly. All right, here's the North American one.
Okay, Dad, I just want to finish this game. Okay, Dad, I'm coming. Yeah, I'm almost at the end. What happened to summer?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Game Boy.
It ain't over till it's over.
Chill out, Dad.
All right, well, there's how they marketed it outside of Japan. Which one was more effective? I'm not really sure. I don't remember seeing that at all. I don't even know if it was aired in the United States. Maybe it was Canada or something. I wish I remembered. I don't though. They just whatever marketing they did, it never worked on me. Like Nintendo Power didn't work on me for getting me into this game. I had to do it myself. I had to just randomly rent it one day. All right, so that's all I want to show for the intro today. We're gonna get to the game now. All right. Here we go. All right, we looked at some commercials just now. Yeah, maybe that was a Babbage's thing, but it felt like it was a TV commercial. It had all that energy to it. Alright. So you might notice that the score has changed a little bit on the leaderboard. I added some points back for Naming Way based on a comment that the Naming Way guy gave me on YouTube. I'm still not sure. Maybe I should have kept those point deductions, but I'm not sure. But I'm okay with it. Alright, so we need to go back in here. And I want to we talked to all these people. Actually, I don't think we went to the armor shop. Let me check the armor shop. Get out of there. Is there someone in here? Anything? Oh yeah, that's Naming Way. Alright, here's the armor and weapon shop. Okay, so while we're here, we can just look at what the items are. We have the iron shield, iron helm, iron armor, the iron gauntlet thing, iron bracer. I'm not going to mess with these. I don't really care to mess with these right now, but let's look at the iron shield. It's probably just tate. Tetsu no tate, yeah. So they took the word ion. It's in if you pronounce this in Japanese, or it'd be ion shirudo. So it's just the English word iron and the English word shield together. For easy type, they were like, they won't know those English words. They don't barely know Japanese, so they switched it to Japanese. They got iron tetsu, and tate is shield. That's how that works. All right, let me go to the other place. Yeah, I wonder why they have these weak equipments here. Maybe it's just like you can get them somehow. Like if you missed them before, you can get them again. If you're doing a collect-a-thon. Alright. Here's holy arrows. 20 each. Oh yeah, so before I go into the magnetic cave, can you guys let me know what equipment I should have? What I usually end up doing is like taking a bow and just giving that to Cecil, and then other things, but usually I get a bow in Toroia. I feel like I don't need to do that. I could probably just use the legendary sword, maybe. Wooden wrench. Yeah, it does give a hint that you'll find someone who does a boomerang. What is this in J2E? Boomerang. It goes boom. The legend sword is magnetic. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure this out. This is always the hard part, and I kind of want to like zip past the difficult like equipment setup stuff. But what I want to do is I want to like walk into the magnetic cave all messed up, and then that way people who don't know the game will see what the deal is, and then I'll put on the proper things. All right, I just left for some reason, so now we're gonna go back. Man, yesterday when I was listening to the VOD yesterday of yesterday's stream, and boy, like when I started off just like brain dead, I made a bunch of weird mistakes. I corrected myself as I went, but boy, I hope I don't mess up this time. Okay, well here's another item shop. What do we got here? I'm waiting to get the I gotta move the microphone very slightly. It was like pushing into the monitor. I want to get the heal all thing, so I can get rid of all these like junk gold needles and things. But I think I have to wait till I go underground for that, right? Alright, so now we're in the inn, but the inn is like a big place with a bunch of areas, so okay, we're gonna talk to some people at a table first. Here's a purple guy. Purple guy says, Konaida kita no kako ni akai mono ga suikomarete iku no o mitan da. The other day, I saw something red get sucked into the northern crater. Kako, right? Kako's crater. Oh no. I'm gonna have to improve this somehow. But yeah, I think it's the crater. Or a crater. I think it's talking about a hole in the mountain. Even though there's no hole now. Alright. Let's see. Super NES. I saw something red being swallowed up into the northern crater. I would have liked the well, this probably won't show up on there, but Konaida. Oh yeah. The other day, lately, recently, it's sort of a contraction of Konoida. Alright. So I would have liked that little bit of detail, like it was a recent event, you know? That would have been nice for like just, I don't know, timeline purposes. Okay, J2E. I saw some red ships going into the crater to the north. So red ships is not a red thing. Akai mono is a thing. Red thing. Or object. Take off a point on J2E here. Okay, so that mistake was always in there. Alright. Naming way. It sounds like they got sucked in. According to him, they just went into it. Okay, naming way says something red went under the North Mountains. Okay, I don't really know what to make of that, but it's wrong, so. Alright. Okay, now we're talking to the other guy at this table. Gosenzo wa ura no daichi kara kinasutta soja. I hear that our ancestors came here from the reverse earth, like reverse land, which is, you know, their weird way of saying like the underground. They don't really understand what their own, like, they don't understand their own myths and legends about their ancestors because it's been so long, and I guess yeah, they just like all their stories are just really old and cut off, like, so they all are sort of coming to terms with how their origins are. See, my brain is dead at the start too. All right, here we go. Super NES says our ancestors came from the hidden land with hidden and land capitalized. I don't think that ever happens again in this game. All right. Hidden land for Ura no Daichi. Yeah, that's kind of how that feels. Ura sometimes mean hidden. It means reverse, literally. Alright. So let's see. J2E. Our ancestors came from the underground. No. If there's words for underground, and they're avoiding it because he doesn't understand what the Ura no Daichi means. Okay. Naming way, supposedly. Well, yeah, also this is hearsay. Super NES misses the hearsay, J2E misses the hearsay. And this whole town is just hearsay because no one remembers their legends, remember? Naming way, supposedly, there we go, hearsay. Our ancestors came from the other world. Other world is a little weird. I would have liked Daichi is land, like solid earth, ground earth. It's and then we're doing like the reverse Ura. Ura is bottom, under surface, opposite side, reverse, rear, back, behind. So it's like the land that is reversed. The reversed land, something like that. So Otherworld is weird. Otherworld could have just been like the second moon, you know? Or it could be where the Rydia is right now. But I'll say it's okay. I'll be nice. Alright. And then this dude continues. Ura no daichi ni mo taiyo wa aru. In the reverse land there is a sun. It does have like a sun. Magma toyuna no taiyo ga. A sun named Magma. A sun with the name of Magma. So we get the actual sun, but for them, their source of light and I guess everything else is from the magma. That's how they're kind of like explaining that to themselves. Super NES. There's a sun there, and it's called the Magma with a capital M. Alright. That's okay. J2E. There's a sun there. A sun of magma. The fact that it literally says name is in there. Yeah, I can see it like the fourth one there. Name. I would have liked that. Like maybe they don't know what magma is. They just know that the sun is named that. We know what magma is. Okay. He used to say our ancestors came from below the earth. That would be better. The below earth would be good. I don't know. Alright. Naming way. Their world has a sun, which they call magma. Okay, very good. I like that. I like that naming way. Let me give you something. Let's continue. Okay, now there's a lady over here at the bar. She's lonely. Alright. This lady says, Soto ja ikusa ga hirogattiru rashii kedo, hoka wa itatte heiwa namura. Supposedly there is war like raging on the outside, but here it is a completely peaceful village. That's how that goes. Demo tokidoki jishin ga okoru no. You know, kind of a feminine vibe on that. And it's saying, but sometimes we do have earthquakes. Okay. Super NES. So she's making a contrast in Japanese, and also it's with hearsay. She hears that there's war going on outside, but here it's super peaceful. Super NES says it's very peaceful here in this village, except for the earthquakes we sometimes have here. That's kind of a weird redundancy. Could have taken off this have here, would have been a little cleaner. Alright, but it's missing the part about war outside. And I like the fact that they know that there's war happening outside. I would have liked that detail. A little bit of like world events. Alright, J2E. Even while the rest of the world is suffering from the ravages of war, it's peaceful here. We do get hit with earthquakes, however. I would have liked this to have the hearsay in it. I won't mark it off, but hearsay just gets so easily dropped when editors are dealing with it. Naming way. Aside from the occasional quake, Agart's quite peaceful. No, the contrast is being done to the war outside, so I'll take that point off. Okay, I'll only take off that point. I was considering doing another because it's like missing half of another sentence. I'll be okay. Okay, here's an end guy. Yeah, I don't want to waste people's time doing that. All right, there's an energetic little girl running around. Yami nakashite wa hikari mo mata nashi. So she's starting to recite like the legend of this place. So it's like kind of like legend text, like if you remember the Mysidian legend, where the text is written sort of in older style, like semi-classical Japanese, like a couple hundred years ago Japanese. So Yami nakashite wa hikari mo mata nashi. So without light there cannot be, or without darkness there can also not be light. Hiru ga aru kara yoru ga aru. Because there is day, there is night. Subete wa shizen no setsuri nari. All is the providence of nature. That's how that goes. Alright. We'll start with that. She has one more line, but we'll do this first. Because this is like a legend thing, it's easily localizable, and so you're going to get very different things. Like if you have people draw something very special and weird and unique, a bunch of people, you're going to get very different results. That happens with this kind of thing. So Super NES, it looks like they localized it into a rhyming poem. The original is not rhyming in any way. Darkness and light, and both are capitalized, darkness and light. They come in a pair, morning and night, together fill the air. Alright. The important things are in there. Although morning instead of day, would have like day and night, but I guess for the poem purposes they had to move it or add the extra syllable. Okay, it's all fine. I wonder what it was before it got, like, it looks like it got, edited at some point. I doubt, like, this was the first draft. I would like to see the first draft of that someday. Sakaguchi, please call me. Alright, J2E. Absent? Oh wait, actually I'll give that a point. I kind of like that. So Super NES gets a point. J2E. Absence of light is darkness. The cold of night must follow the light of day. No. That's not how that's working. Okay, wait, there's more to it. Oh yeah, this part about all is the like providence of nature, Setsuri, providence, yeah. Is missing, so I'll take off that point. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. Alright, J2E. Absence of light is darkness. The cold of night must follow the light of day. I don't like how that's working there, but okay, both coexist in this world, light and darkness. Right, what was this before? Because it feels like it's very different. Alright, the old patch said absence of light is darkness. Because there is night, I don't know. Because there is day, there is also night. So it was a little closer than it used to be. Alright. So the whole point about this is Shizen is nature. Like, you can even say Mother Nature sometimes. It's all the providence of nature. Okay, I'm gonna take off because it's just kind of all weird here. Right, naming way. It looks like it's pulling from Super NES here. Darkness and light come in a pair. Morning and night both fill the air. Okay, here's what I think this is pulling from 3DS now. That's what ancestors used to say, but we'll get to that in a second. Sorry. I would have liked the part about the nature. So naming way, we'll lose that. Okay, I'll only do that a few times. I won't go crazy with that. All right, so the next line is Gosenzo te hito ga ite-tan datte. It's like they say that a person named Gosenzo used to say that. And actually, so she thinks it's a person's name, Gosenzo. But Gosenzo is actually the Japanese word for ancestors. So she's mistaking that for an actual name. So Super NES. ... Our ancestors said it. Okay, that's not right. J2E. That's what our ancestors said. Okay. Naming way gets to the heart of it, where there's like a misunderstanding on her part. That's basically the main thing. That's what ancestors used to say, ... And that's good. We'll give that a point. But also, I must note that this is from the 3DS version. We can see it right here. 3DS line said, that's what ancestors used to say. But I don't know who that is or what she meant. Oh, speaking of which, while I'm looking at this 3DS version, I do need to point out that the Japanese script is not like set in stone permanently. In every re-release of Final Fantasy IV, the Japanese script gets updated also. So different like versions of the game will have more changes than others. But what this means is that over time, like Final Fantasy IV in Japanese script is gonna like stray from this original Japanese script. And so by pulling from translations of those later scripts, you might be pulling from not the equivalent of this original script. Does that make sense? So when naming way is pulling from all these different versions, it's kind of making a Frankenstein, like a time travel Frankenstein, where weird changes are being brought back in time. I hope that makes sense. All right, so there's ancestors. Really like that choice for the 3DS. So I guess when I gave a point for that, it's more for the 3DS guys. I think that's Tom Slattery, right? I really like his work. I can't write as well as he does. He writes real good. Alright. Okay, see, they have a lot of beds here. Wow, does everyone just sleep here in town? Now that I think about it, there weren't a lot of houses in that town. Alright, so here is a dancer lady with purple hair. And that's kind of unusual, but if you look at my site, legendsoflocalization.com, you'll see that there's a bunch of weird stuff that happens with this lady. The PS1 and the GBA translations start to like desync here. I think there was just some weird problems that happened and some copy and paste problems start happening here. And so in one of those versions, she actually uses the text of a separate NPC. But we'll see what happens here. Okay, so this dancer lady says, Fushigi na odori o misemashou ka? Bleh. Fushigi na odori o misemashou ka? Shall I show you a mysterious dance, an unusual dance? Fushigi, wonder, miracle, strange, mystery, marvel, curiosity. So do you want me to show you a curious dance? Ura no daichi ni tsudawaru odori nan desu. They say that is a dance that is passed down from the reverse earth. Here goes, ikuwayo, here goes. That's how that goes. So she offers first. This is an offer. Watch me dance. It's the dance in the hidden land. So this feels like straight up first draft Japanese translation. I would have liked the fact that it's passed down. It's passed down in or from the old, like, hidden land. Take off a point on that little detail. It's a cultural thing. You don't want to lose your culture through simple translations. All right. Also, the ikuwayo isn't in there. J2E. Hey, I'll show you a mysterious dance. Here goes. It doesn't say it's from the reverse earth. I guess that's how I'm going to translate Ura no Daichi for a while. The underground is, they don't have a good word for underground. This village, they don't understand their past. Alright. Did I take off that point? Oh, they removed it from the old patch. So it used to say, want me to show you a mysterious dance? It's a dance that comes from under the earth. So it used to be better. An editor came in and was like, this sounds too clunky. I'm going to take that part out. And that happened to me all the time as a professional translator. My clunky, things that seemed clunky were meant there for a reason. Okay. Naming way. Want to see an unusual dance? I'm told it came from the other world. Here goes. Ooh, good job, naming way. You did good. You got everything in there. What do we got? I'll give you a point just because you did good. This is the underground castle music. Who's playing it though? Where's it coming from? It would be neat to see like actual interpretive dances of these dances, like real life interpretive dances. I wonder if anyone has ever done that. Alright, now we're walking over here. Here's an old, really old guy. How old are you? Alright. Okay, this old guy has a bunch of text. Gosenzo wa kita no yama no sancho no o ana kara yatte kita rashi ga. Okay, so our ancestors supposedly came here from the Great Hole on the summit of the northern mountain, ... Okay, that's how that works. So it's, again, it's hearsay. This bashi is seeming, like judgment based on evidence, reason, or trustworthy hearsay appearing. So everyone in this place talks about it with hearsay. Hearsay is like the most important point of this whole village, besides the fact that they're from down and below. Alright, so Super NES takes out the hearsay, as usual. Our ancestors came from the crater up in the northern mountain. Okay, so I think it's Big Hole, large hole, Archaeozoic Big Hole. You guys remember that? So it's a large hole, not necessarily a crater. Okay, well, I'll say that's fine. Northern mountain is good. Ancestors came, crater, okay, all good. J2E. Our ancestors came from the large hole in the mountains to the north. Would have liked the word summit in there, but that's not, it doesn't matter. And the hearsay is missing. Alright, naming way. I hear our ancestors came from the mountain to the north, from the crater. Again, the summit part, summit detail is missing. The Sancho, summit of a mountain, not a big deal. But the hearsay is in there, and I really like that. Good job naming. Okay, it also goes with crater. Okay, the next part is Ima wa ana ga fusagatoru shi daiichi sora demo tobinakutte wa no. But now the hole is sealed, and we need to fly in the sky, with the implication of if we wanted to go. Or wait, yeah, daiichi sora demo tobinakutte wa no, yeah. We'd need to be able to fly anyway, kind of is how that goes. Daiichi. Sora demo, we need to fly or something. Super NES. Besides, we need to fly now to get there. Oh yeah, but it is blocked now. Besides, we need to fly now to get there. Okay, good. I like the phrasing on that. One of my cats is doing her moaning because Poe isn't around. Okay, I'm gonna have to close the door. I'm gonna have to block this crater. Okay, J2E. But the hole is blocked now, and you can't get there by land or from the sky. That's wrong. That's wrong. I think I see what they did wrong. This Daiichi. Daiichi is, kind of does the besides, the work of this besides. First, foremost, number one. But if you take off this extra E, it becomes Daichi, and Daichi means land. And it's followed by the word Sora, sky. So the translator misread it and then was like, you can't get it to the land from the land or the sky. And that's wrong. J2, got that wrong. You got that wrong, so you get... Alright, naming way. From the crater which is sealed now. Besides, you need to fly to get there. I'm thinking it should be we. I think this would be better if this was a we. This would be better as a we. Yeah, Super NES has the we. I won't take any points off on that, but that's how I feel it. Alright. Here's an energetic girl. Where are you? Oh wait, we already saw that one. Alright. Energetic boy, where are you? Get over here. So this part of the game, these NPCs, they started getting really mixed, weird and messed up. GBA has like actual... No, the PlayStation 1 has genuine basic mistranslations in this section of the game. And then the GBA version has copy-paste mistakes in this part of the game. And because it's based on the PS1, it just becomes like a mess. So this section of the game down in here is all messy. And it has to do with that dancer lady over there too. But let's look at we're not looking at GBA or PS1, so let's just keep moving. Okay, this blue-haired boy says, Uchi no ba-chan wa mura ichiban no nagaiki. My grandma is the village's oldest living person. Nandemo shitenda. She knows everything. She knows anything and everything kind of thing. She knows everything. That's how that goes. This Nandemo definitely feels like anything or everything, not just a lot, and as we see there. But okay, Super NES says, my grandma has been living the longest in this village. That, if you remember when I would talk about like the genie, and the genie likes to use loopholes and things, and also how you can get legal loopholes if you have poor wording. This could mean that she moved here at some point, and then she's been living here longer than anyone else has. But she's actually just like the longest alive person, like she's the oldest person. Nagaiki. Like longevity or long life. So there's a weird little loophole that I don't like in there. She knows a lot. I would have liked that everything. That's what a boy would think, looking up to their smart grandma. She knows everything. Yeah, she's probably knows like all the legends and stuff. Right. J2E. My grandma is the oldest person in the village. She knows everything. Oh, very good. I like that, J2E. Give you... What do we got? Alright, naming way. Granny's the oldest person in the village. She knows everything. Okay, good job. You got it too. I'll give you something too.
Yay!
Alright, now we're talking to the old lady. She talks like an old lady, obviously. Okay. Furuku kara no itsutae ja. ... This is an old story passed down, an old passed down story. That's how that goes. Wareda ga taiyo no ishi o kokyo ni kaesu toki, kokyo e no michi nori wa hirakaren. ... Little bit of a older semi-classical Japanese in here too. So it's saying this is an old story passed down for a long time. When you return our sunstone to its homeland, the path to the homeland shall open. And then just kind of make that like old fancy talk. So, and then you kind of get it. All right. So she starts by saying this is an old story. All right. So this is missing, and that first sentence is missing in Super NES. J2E. Wait, let me finish this. Super NES says, when we return the key of magma to where it belongs, the way to our homeland will be open. So we don't know that she's telling us that this is the legend to begin with. That first line was kind of important. And the phrasing of it, making it like semi-classical, like you can do like semi-biblical, semi-Shakespeare, or something to make it sound old and not just generic dialogue. So I'm gonna take off another point there. The interesting thing is this is Taiyo is sun, Taiyo is sun, and Ishi is a bunch of words. Ishi, in this case, is going to mean stone. It's number 3 on this list here, stone, gem, or jewel. So it's the sunstone, and you might remember that from Chrono Trigger, right? Anyway, sunstone is what is being intended, and then when we look at the Japanese GBA text where it has kanji, it's also confirmed there. But I think the PS1 didn't understand and did the second one on here, will, like willpower. So like the sun's will is how that turned out in PS1. GBA fixed it, as I recall. Anyway, I wanted to point that out because sunstone is important. It's like the item that we get is actually the sunstone, I'm pretty sure. Although it might have a different name. It calls it the key of magma here, I think just for gameplay purposes, but literally it's sunstone. Alright, so where it belongs should say homeland. It would say homeland twice. Like, when we return the key of magma to our homeland, the way to our homeland will be open. That's better. But it doesn't. It's not. It's okay. All right. J2E. There's an old legend. ... Okay, they have that sentence. Good job. When we return the magma stone to its birthplace. Yeah. Okay. So magma. I don't like that. When we return the magma stone to its birthplace, I'm gonna take it off on J2E also. The way to the land of the underground sun will open. What? No, that's not right. And Kokyo is like your hometown, home birth, native place. Not birthplace necessarily. Alright, what did it used to be? About the same. Alright, so it's kind of weird in J2E there. Naming way. There's an old saying. Okay, that's good. I like that. Okay, and then they even put quotes around this just so that we're extra clear. Good. I really appreciate that naming way. Mr. Naming Way, thank you. Only when the sun's stone is returned will the path to the homeland emerge. Okay, very good.
Excellent.
It's the only one that does sun's stone. Okay, so is it in here? I have to break out of this. Okay, so I'm looking now on the screen right now is a screenshot from the Final Fantasy II Super NES manual, and it has a pre-release version of this line. And we can see that it adds the word Actually, it changed a little bit. It used to say, when we return the key of magma to where it belongs, the way to our homeland will open. I heard. So I heard is a separate second sentence at the end. Alright, Super NES, the final version said, when we return the key of magma to where it belongs, the way to our homeland, and homeland is now one word, will be open. And then that second sentence was dropped. And we can see here that they originally did have all of the hearsay in the old prototype ROM, it looks like. And so this is really, like, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, wow, yay. So we're seeing, like, how they cut out text to save space. Because I heard, if you're not paying attention, it seems like it's not that important. And you can save text space by taking out less important text, right? And so they cut out a bunch of the hearsay, probably, in this whole town. But the whole point is that everyone is just doing things by hearsay. Until then we get to go down there. Alright, so that's a little look at that old-timey stuff. Yeah, homeland was 2 words originally. Alright. Okay, so I think we can leave this place now. We can finish Agart. I don't think the text ever changes here, right? Even when we like have the key and everything, and do the well. Get out of the way, lady. All right. While I'm here, I'm gonna look at some enemies. We'll just see what enemies are out here. I forget. There might be something of interest. They're a very isolated island. Maybe they don't care. Oh, okay. Now we're fighting some weird new enemies. Alright, they're called... They're those weird, I don't know, like weird... They were called sea pots originally, back in like the underground waterway north of Kaipo. They're just like a bunch of weird looking, like circular biological amoeba things. They're weird. Anyway, in Japanese, they are called moruzu. Mors or something. I don't know what that means. Moruzu. Does it mean anything here? Moles. I feel like this must be a D&D reference then. D&D experts, go forth and find out what the heck this thing is. If it helps, the easy type changed the name to Fuyukabi. Fuyukabi, huh? Like floating moss? Kabi is like mold, right? Mold. Is it like floating mold? I guess it could be like a mayfly mold. Or a rich and famous mold. I'm going to say it's that, as a joke. It's very famous. Okay. Maybe that will give you a hint. Alright. In Super NES, they become huge cell. Huge cell. That's actually a good way to describe them. Then in J2E, it's moles, M-O-L-Z. In the naming way, M-O-R-S. Hello, everyone. Hello, Flippin' Alright. Now let's just kill these guys. If we can. Well, yeah, I wanted to show off the... Well, I guess it doesn't matter, but we're... Sid has the Shiraberu skill, and that is like to check, or to like inspect, or to research. Shiraberu. They became peep in English, but let's just try it and see what happens. Okay. Okay. So, no weak points found. Got changed a little bit in easy type. They just took out a space in there for some reason. It's pretty funny. Okay, I'm just gonna do some blizzard or something. Oh, you know what? I can just waste my stuff on them. What do we got? I'm gonna use the bomb fragment. Okay, I thought these guys would be pretty hard, but they're not too bad right now. Oh, wait a minute. One of them hit Yang and he got hurt bad. Oh no, I did nothing. Yeah, these guys are kind of hard. I'm having a hard time against these dumb enemies. No one... Sometimes Bob fragments actually have been helpful. Are they just all going to retreat now? Alright, they're all going to retreat. They're like, oh man, these guys have some magic. We gotta get out of here. Oh, I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen like the battle end with no victory message. Alright, so the next step is we're going to go to the town of Toroia. This whole section out here, I really wish they did more with this whole section in this game. I know they do stuff in after years, but boy, like in this island, I wish they did stuff with this. There's all this out here. I think in after years, like there's a tower out here or something. Right. So we have landed on the western hemisphere, where there's very bountiful forests and rivers and a big lake and a waterfall. It's very bountiful here and green and lush. It's important to know these things. Oh yeah, that was there all along. Yeah, okay, so that might have been molds. Moruzu? That would work. Or Moruzu, so it could be molds. I need to talk to, I don't remember, everyone on the staff. Kinarita, I remember him, I think. He's the programmer of things. Alright, we're going into this lush green town, Toroia no Machi. So, as I recall, Toroia in Japanese is how they say the city of Troy, the old Greek city, or like I guess they weren't technically Greek for a while, all that stuff. So this might be just like a reference to that. I don't know. Anyway, in Super NES it's Toroia. There's an O in there. J2E says Toroia, also like Super NES. And Naming Way says Troia, without the O in there. I've been saying it without the extra O in there because that's just how it feels right to me, Troia. Actually, let me see if this pulls up. Toroi shows up as there in this weird dictionary. Alright. I need to click back in here. I'm not really sure if it should have been Troy or not. It just seems to be referencing it. I don't really understand. Okay, so there's so many places to go. Where do we go first? Let me clear out these. Oh yeah, okay, here's where I can get this, all the stuff for the magnetic cave coming up. I can get stuff there. Alright, and then in here, I tend to get Cecil the Great Bow. And then I probably should have got holy arrows, huh? I'm gonna go get some holy arrows back at wherever that place is. Oh yeah, I need to get a bunch of ruby rings too. Yeah, I'm gonna get a bunch of holy arrows over at Agart. 1, 2, 3. I think that's a good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should be doing this properly, huh? Now I got all these things that are unstacked. Oh, I'm almost out. I have to stack them manually. Alright, that gives us some space a little bit. Alright, just in case, that's my backup equipment. We're gonna head back out, go to Agart, get those arrows while I'm here. What I usually end up doing is I go to the place over in Baron, and I would just stock up on things there for my armors. I'm too lazy, I don't want to go do that and waste everyone's time. I feel like I'm wasting people's time when I'm playing the game. and not looking at text. Alright, we're going to get those holy arrows. Just gonna buy like 99 of them. Seem to recall there's some good glitches with arrows that you can do. Now we're gonna head back to Toroia. I'm gonna do the fast way out of here, faster way. I could just walk out at this rate. Everyone's like, oh, where did they go? And just do the exit spell to get out of there faster. They spin around when they do that spell and they should barf. Like in Metal Gear Solid 3. Man, I should have looked up. I should have like double checked. There's like a bunch of Japanese FAQs and things that have all kinds of cool tips for, like just getting around the magnetic BS stuff. I'm sure it's documented in English too, but I would like to look at the Japanese ones. Okay, well, now we're talking to an old man. He's in some grass, looking at some ladies who are swimming around in the water. He's like hiding, secretly watching them. He goes, Gikuri. That's kind of like a surprised, maybe like a surprised sound, maybe a surprised gulp sound, maybe. Gikuri. What does it show up on here? Startled? Yeah, there's a startled sound. Gikuri. That becomes, well, what? Oh no, J2E, what are you doing? Okay, let me just read this whole line first. He's like, Eep. Nanja odokashiote. Well, what are you doing? Don't spook me like that. Hey, mukoni ikanka. He's like, go away. He's like, oh, don't scare me like that. Go away. Alright, so in Super NES that becomes, well, what? You surprised me. Go away. That's fine. I would have liked there to be a text box break there. That's okay though. J2E. Hey, this one's got firm hands. I don't know. Ag, well, what the? You startled me. Go away, damn it. What is the firm hands thing? Alright, the firm hands thing is bizarre. So J2E is going to lose a point. I don't know. Alright. And then, naming way. Hey, get your own spot. Okay. No. No, no. Firm hands, what the? I don't understand that at all. Alright, so we're gonna talk to that, the wife of that weird old man, old pervert. Uchi no ji-san, doko ichatta no kane? Where did my Gramps go, I wonder? Where did Gramps go to? I wonder. So, it's pretty common in Japanese families to speak about people as their role in the family rather than your direct relationship. You do it in English sometimes too. Usually when we talk to children, we'll be like, Daddy said this or Mommy said this when you're like Mommy or Daddy yourself. So it's common for her to say Gramps. She's not looking for her grandpa, but rather like her husband. Does that make sense? I bring that up because it's possible that some translations, not these ones, but other translations might make that mistake. Right. So she speaks like an old person too. Super NES, have you seen my husband? J2E, I wonder where my husband went. That one's a little closer. Naming way, have you seen my husband? I think she's just wondering and not asking directly like that. It doesn't matter. Alright, here is a bearded blonde guy. This is Reed Young. Oh, we have an easy type change here. Oh, for the first time I see a little book thing covering some text. Okay. Okay, so this guy's gonna tell us some stuff about our next dungeon that we're gonna go to. Hoseki o tori ni Hokuto no shima no dokutsu ni kinko o motte ittara kutsui shimatte toriyashi ne. Very like casual working class, maybe like you could expect it from like a miner, like a guy who mines things kind of voice. Like a coal miner maybe. Okay, but he's talking about other things. So Hoseki o tori ni, so when I took Kinko, like a safe. Yeah. So when I took a metal safe, the kind for safekeeping. When I took a metal safe to the cave on the island to the northeast to mine Hoseki is like gems or jewels, right? The safe got stuck, and then I couldn't. It got stuck to the ground, I guess, and then just couldn't be budged. It's kind of how that feels. I'm getting a little off the rails there. So let me rephrase all this. When I went to the northeast, when I went to the cave to the north on the northeast island to get to mine gems, I took a safe, but it got stuck on the ground and I couldn't move it. That's how it kind of goes. Oh, Easy Type just has a space in there. Alright. So Supernius says, metals get so heavy and stuck in a cave on the island of Northeast. Better watch out. So better watch out is added. I'll take off that. He's saying like, I went to go do this stuff. So his motivation is completely missing in this line now. It's just like generic, like Final Fantasy 1 level, like a backward step in game writing, I feel. This guy has like a personality and a job and all this stuff and a story to tell. Alright, J2E. We mine gems from the cave in the north. However, we can't wear anything metal. It gets really heavy. Okay, first is to the northeast, so J2E moves to that. Okay, wearing anything metal, that is wrong. Gets really heavy is wrong. But I'll say that's what the Toriyashi ne ends up being. I'll be nice on that one. Okay. Naming way. Metals are too heavy to carry in Magnus Cave on the Northeast Isle. So it's kind of combining a bunch of things here. His story is missing. The name is in there for some reason. It doesn't need to be in there. I'll say it's fine. And also, the heaviness is not involved at all. Alright, there's some weirdness just all in there. Alright, let's continue. I don't know why you would take a safe to a cave that's so far away. Wouldn't it be like really hard to lug that back? But I guess how would you store the stuff? How do you store stuff for transport like that? I'm not versed. I'm not versed in these things. Alright, here's a sunbather. She always reminds me of Earthbound. This desert sunbather. A big sack. There's an iron safe in Dragon Quest 4. So I'm so unversed in Dragon Quest games that one of these days I'm going to have to play through them all. I would like to do that on stream, doing what I'm doing here, with a couple different versions of the script here. Dragon Quest gets real crazy with its translation, so that could be interesting. Alright, so this sunbather looks like she's dead, but she just says ... Everyone says ... so that's good. Urusai wa ne, nikko yoku shiteru dakara, nikko yoku shiteru dakara. So, you're so annoying. I'm sunbathing, you know. Okay, that becomes, don't disturb me. I'm just sunbathing. She does sound really annoyed in Japanese. J2E, leave me alone, I'm sunbathing. And then naming way, do you mind? I'm tanning. I would have liked a stronger snap to that. Do you mind? Tanning is a little weird because there is a word for tanning in Japanese. Oh, the old J2E patch used to also say, freaking tan lines. Is that a phrase? Is that a reference to anything? I don't think so, but you never know with J2E anymore. They've been doing a lot of references in a row. So we already talked to the read here, I think. Yeah. Here's the old lady looking for her husband. Okay, let's go into the water here. We're going into the this nice public lake, and girls are swimming in it. Dancer girls, it looks like. Okay, a girl is saying, "Sonna no kite oyogu to sabichau wa yo." So if you wear stuff like that when you're swimming, it'll rust, you know. Super NES. You can't swim with such armor on, it'll rust. Okay, that's fine. J2E. Why are you swimming in armor? It'll rust. Take it off, silly. Take it off, silly's not in there. Oh, I used to say a lot more. It's kind of messy. I can't read that in the old J2E. Naming way. You can't swim with armor on, it'll rust. That's fine. This other girl. Kya kya. Arda, isho ni oyogu? So that kya kya was removed for the easy type. Kya kya feels like it could be taken a couple different ways, but I feel like it's just her, like doing like energetic stuff. I don't know. I don't think she's screaming. I don't think she's going kya. It's just like having fun in the water maybe or something. Super NES. Oh yeah. Arda, isho ni oyogu. Oh. Will you swim together? Will you swim with me? Kind of feeling? Will you swim with us? Oh my, swim together? Super NES. Hi, want to swim together? Okay, that's fine. J2E. Oh, hello there. Want to swim with me? Used to say ha ha ha. Naming way. Care for a dip? I'm not really sure myself what that kya kya is right now. I'll just look it up later. Let me write that down. Like, they took it out of the easy type because it was probably just weird. So, for that reason, there's a precedence, a Japanese precedent, so I won't mark off for naming way not doing it. Alright. Now we got, if we follow this, we'll find something else. Okay, naming way is just running around in the water here for some reason. I don't really need him to change my name. Okay. Now I'm going into like the secret back area. It's very foresty and grassy, and now there's a little girl running around in the grass. What do you gotta say, little girl? Okay, this is an important line. Like they hid this important line way back here. Hiso hiso te shiteru? Have you heard of the hiso hiso? Koe o toku ni tobaseru fushigi na kusa nan datte. They say it is a mysterious plant that can send voices far off in the distance, or like far away. And okay, so hiso hiso is a little interesting here. Just by itself, hiso hiso. Hopefully it'll show up. Yeah, okay. So hiso hiso is whisper. Like it's just like the sound effect for whispering. You go hiso 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 hiso. Okay. However, there's wordplay here also. This hiso hiso, this second so is a little longer. And that's because, does it show up on here? It does not show up on here. Oh wait, maybe it could. Oh, maybe I can do it? No, I can't. Oh, neat, I've never done that before. Anyway, that extra long length on that so is because this so is the plant suffix. So is like how you'll often like, you just put that at the end of a word and it makes it a plant. So it's like the whisper plant. It's sort of like a combination word, whisper plant. And so have you heard of the whisper plant? I hear it's a mysterious plant that can send voices far away. That's how that goes in Japanese. And while we're here, let me show you that the Japanese original game of this has many official guidebooks, and they're very full of information, background information, and even lots of drawings, like really good drawings of all the items in the game. And so the hiso looks like this. This is what the whisper plant looks like. And this is what sends voices far off into the distance with it. I'm showing it on screen. It looks real fancy. I don't know how to describe it. Very plant-like, but also very unique. Has some ribbony lookingness to it. Very elegant. All right. Let me go back to the game. All right. So, Super NES. Do you know about the twin harps? A pair of harps which can send the sound of one to another. So we can see that the whisper plant has been replaced entirely with the idea of harps, twin harps. They're called twin harps without a space, and then they are also the fact that they are harps, like you could call a plant this twin harps, right? However, it continues by saying a pair of harps which can send the sound of one to another. So it is reinforced that this is actual harps, like actual musical instruments. So the Super NES has changed this quite dramatically. And that art that I showed you will no longer apply. And that's a sort of a thing that you want to think about when you're doing translations. When you change a proper noun, like a special proper noun, you have to keep in mind that there could be art related to it in some way. There could be secondary stuff connected to it in some way. So if you end up changing the name too much, you'll break whatever connections there are. And you'll need a guy like me to come in like 30 years later to explain it all to you. You'll need a tomato. All right. So anyway, they're called twin harps in Super NES. There's a reason, because Edward is a big part of what's coming up, and he plays harps, so I kind of try to tie this in with Edward now. It's weird, just for that art break, like the art does no longer apply, so I'm gonna take off a point on Super NES. Alright. But otherwise, like it's fine. As long as they're consistent with it, with their change, I'm okay with it, and I won't mess with it anymore. J2E. Have you heard of the Echoer? An Echoer is a capital E on it. It's an amazing plant that can send your voice far away. Okay, so they called it the Echoer. For hiso, it's such a Japanese wordplay name that you probably would want to do some sort of localization on it. Some sort of plant name would have been fun, but they just went with Echoer. Oops, wrong one. Okay, it was always called the Echoer. I'm okay with them doing Echoer because that could be the name of a plant, and they even say that as a plant, so I'm okay. Naming way. Have you heard of whisperweed? I hear you can transmit your voice really far with it. It's weird that a little girl would know the word transmit like that. And based on her grammar up here, the transmit doesn't really apply. I feel like it's tonally wrong, but it's fine. Gets the point across. Naming way, it says whisperweed with a lowercase w, which makes it sound like it's just some ordinary plant, which is kind of neat to think of. And whisperweed, I believe, is how they call it, starting with the 3DS version, maybe with the GBA. I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, so far, whisperweed is by far my favorite one. It has that weed at the end is equivalent to that so suffix I was telling you about, the plant suffix. And hiso is whispering, and it fits with that art that I just showed, whisperweed, by keeping it with whisper and weed. This image on the screen, this plant, it can be used. It can be applied to like an official American guide or English guide someday, But with twin harps, you can't do that anymore. You'll have to get a new artist or something. All right. So that's how all of that works. Now there's an item in here somewhere. An ether. An ether dry. That's like the stronger ether. We looked at that on day 2, I think. The ether dries. We have escape doll. In Japanese, this is called escape doru. That means scape. Like scape and doll. And this became, well, it doesn't exist in the Super NES, so it's dummied out. J2E says escape doll. And Naming Way says decoy. Now the deal here is that this is an item that will like, I forget how it works, but like you will, is it like an Earthbound where the teddy bears will take the damage for you? Or does this just let you escape a battle immediately? I can't remember. However, this isn't the only time this word exists. Scape doll also appears in other games. Here's a Phantasy Star Online game where Scape doll exists. It's the highlighted name here, Scape Doru. And it says when you die, I'm reading the Phantasy Star Online description here. Like when you become unable to fight for one time only, you can be revived. Is that how that works? You get a few dodges for free? It's like blink? Okay. So I don't know what this comes from. Where does this word come from? Seeing it here, and seeing it in Final Fantasy, is this related to Dungeons and Dragons in some way, I wonder? It seems to be like the grandfather of all of these weird words that I can't figure out. Okay, let me make this big again. Alright. Let's look at that item over here. Escape Doru. And easy type is probably dummied out, so yeah, it's dummied out. Okay, J2E description is added. As you can see, the Japanese has no description up here. In J2E and Naming Way add things. Escape doll. User is seen as multiple targets. Okay. And then Naming Way calls it the decoy, which is kind of helpful to know what that even is. Creates double, increases evade. Okay. Okay, stick that over there. Alright. So that's escape doll. And we have 1,000 gil. This girl had like a bunch of hidden items. She had better items than the Baron Treasury had. Oh my gosh. She has her own little fort back there. It only works on yourself, possibly. Okay, I'm currently walking back out of the lake. I really like this game lets you just do this silly stuff like this. Okay, let's go into the inn just to see what's in here. The inn is a lot more expensive here. Oh my gosh, it's 400 GP gil. Man, this chair is so bad. It hurt my legs. I might have to get a new chair. Alright, let's go to the item shop. Probably nothing of great interest in here. Let's see. Yeah, nothing of interest. I don't think there's any items in there. Okay, so those were the only hidden items. Okay. Alright, then we can go in there maybe. Or we can go into the Black Chocobo place. Let's go to the... okay, so we're going into the special building here, which is a big entertainment center. There's a big entertainment center here. And actually, I guess downstairs is a pub, Sakaba. We've seen this before. This is like a drink place where you get drinks, alcohol. Alcohol place is what it literally means. Super NES calls it cafe because, you know, Nintendo wouldn't allow alcohol things in games, so everything's a cafe now. And that's why everyone's hooked on coffee these days. It's not because of Starbucks, it's because of Nintendo. Alright, J2E again goes against its own stated goal by leaving it as cafe. Take off a point, and Naming Way goes with pub. I don't know why naming or J2E just keeps messing that up. Alright. Alright, so there's a lot of people in this pub. Like, there's so many people in this little spot, it's annoying to, like, navigate it. But let's talk to this, like, lady up to the front. She's a shop. And she's gonna sell us something. She's gonna sell us the Kainsho. There's, like, the membership certificate, membership ID, something like that. Kainsho. Does this show up on here? Yeah, membership badge, membership certificate, something like that. That becomes pass, pass, and pass in all the translations. It's not really a pass, it's like a membership thing. But it doesn't matter. I have enough money that I'll buy it. We'll do that while we're here. We're gonna go to the cabaret club. Or the dance club. Oh yeah, let me look at that. Maybe there's descriptions on it. J2E adds a description that says, a pass to the best show in town. That was made up out of nowhere. I won't take off points for that though. Alright, and we're talking to an old lady here. Onushira wa watashi ga oaite itaso. So I shall be, oh man. Like, I shall be the, how did I translate? I don't want to have to come up with this translation on the spot. I'm cheating by looking at my own site. How did I translate that? Toroia. I think there's a translation mistake on that one in J2E possibly. So let me find it. Where is it? Okay, no, not there. Not there. Where are you, old lady? I'm looking for this old lady right now. Okay. This old lady says, allow me to give you folks company. Okay, yeah, so she's offering, this whole place kind of has a theme to it. Oh, shoot. Has a theme to it where it's like a, like, girl, you pay and girls will drink with you and stuff like that. You know, it's one of those hostess clubs sort of thing. Like, if you're not familiar with it, Japan has this thing called hostess clubs where you pay money and for like a, I don't know, a short amount of time, you get to sit with a pretty girl, and then like she'll talk to you and you talk to her, and they'll pretend to like you and they'll listen to all your words. And of course they'll try to make you like drink, you know, try to get you to buy drinks. And they'll ask you to buy drinks for them and buy food for them and stuff. So it's sort of like this thing that they have in Japan. We probably have stuff like that now here. But right now I have a Yakuza 0 screenshot on it, I think. Maybe this isn't Yakuza 0. But the Hostess Club's mini games are so fun in the Yakuza games. I love that song, the Fever song. Anyway, so that's kind of the deal what's happening here with this whole place, is that there's all these like beautiful women here. And they will offer to, like, you know, drink with you and talk with you and stuff for a price. And anyway, this old lady is saying, I'll be your talker lady. I'll be your hostess if you want. Allow me to be your hostess is kind of what she's saying. And she's saying it like an old person, which is kind of off-putting. Like having a really old lady. Like in the Yakuza games, you can get like really weird old lady, like kind of like senior citizens and stuff. It's kind of fun to do that. But anyway, it's not like the standard, so it's kind of off-putting, which is why the next line says, Nanja sono kao wa? What's with that look on your face? What's with that look? What's with that face? Alright, so that's what's happening. There's like a Japanese culture thing going on here. Super NES, hello my dears, make yourself at home. So the entire thing was wrecked. Both lines are messed up, so Super NES loses 2 points. Oh no. Super NES. Oh wait, no, J2E. You seem to want to spend some quality time with an older, more mature woman. That's not quite right, but I guess maybe it's trying to explain the cultural thing in there. Then it says, what's with that look? So I think it's trying to do kind of a localization through description like describing what is being implied. Like otherwise would already be like it wouldn't be need to be stated because Japanese culture. Yeah, they added in J2E they added an older, more mature woman in the newer patch. So I'm okay with this. It's kind of like thought out. I feel like there's some thought put into that, and I appreciate that. Naming Way says, "Allow me to show you folks a good time. What's with the look?" Okay, that's probably the best one. If that's pulling from like the 3DS or PSP, I like that. I almost want to give it a point. I'm gonna give it a point, and then I'll give it. Alright. Now we're talking at an old man who's sitting at the bar counter. And he speaks like an old guy, of course. Nagaiki wa suru mon ja no. It pays to live a long life after all. It sure pays to live a long life. Washa tengoku yori kochi ga iwai. And saying like, personally, I prefer this more than heaven. I prefer this over heaven, if you ask me. That's kind of how that goes. So the first dimension of heaven might be kind of scary for Nintendo, I don't know. But he's saying that like, I'm glad that I lived a long life. Alright, so Super NES, this becomes, no, I don't want to go home. Alright, so I'm just going to take off 2 points for each sentence being wrong there. J2E. I'm glad I've lived so long. I'd prefer this place to heaven. Okay, that's fine. Naming Way. Live a long life. This place beats heaven. Live a long life feels strange. Take off a point on that. And this place beats heaven. It's fine. Alright, now we're going to talk to a burly guy sitting alone at a table. Itsu mite mo koko no nee-chan wa saiko da ze. However many times I look, the girls here are the best, are the greatest. The gals. I would maybe say gal. If I use the word gal and a Japanese person watches, they're going to get the wrong idea, maybe, but gal is maybe what I use here. No matter how many times I watch them, or no matter how many times I look at them, the gals here are just the best. So there's a little bit of like objectification of women going on. I don't know if that's why this in Super NES just becomes, this is great, but the translation would be a failure in a translation test, so I took that off. J2E. No matter how you look at them, and I do often, the girls here are awesome. I feel like this part, and I do often, was added in by an editor. We shall see if this is the case. It is not the case. I was wrong. That deserves... Alright. But it gets everything in there. Good job, J2E. Naming Way. The chicks here always look fine. That's pretty good. I would have liked something more to that, but chicks is pretty good for that. I like that. Alright, now we have a blonde guy with an emoji on his hair. We're going to talk to the blonde guy at the bar. Yatta! Kyou wa counter ni suwareta ze. And it's like, hooray, I managed to get a seat at the counter today. Alright. So, hooray, I get to sit at the counter today. Super NES. Hi, how are you doing? Are they just writing? It's like someone just like making up text in the Japanese side of things right now. So, both of those lines are wrong. Super NES gets 2 points off on that. Sorry, Super NES. J2E. Alright, today I got a spot at the counter. Tomorrow, upstairs. The tomorrow upstairs part is added. It's not in the original. I like it. It kind of adds to it. And if I was not a translator, I would say that I really like it. But as a translator, like, I have to say it's not reflective of the original, so I'm going to take off a point. Naming Way. Finally got a counter seat. Would have liked the yatta. But it's kind of baked in there a little bit. I'm okay with that. Alright, now we're going to talk to a dancer lady. Ara boku, chotto kawaii janai? So sometimes it's common for, like, boku is like the personal pronoun for like or like not heavily masculine guys, but just like it's a masculine pronoun, kind of associated with boyishness, like being a boy, like maybe like a younger boy. But sometimes you can just use it as a second person reference. It's like, oh, little boy. Sometimes. So she's kind of saying like, oh, little boy. Maybe not boy, but maybe it's like something. Kind of like, I don't know how to explain it off the top of my head very well. I'm sorry. Chotto kawaii janai means, oh, you're kind of cute after all, or you're actually kind of cute. So yeah, probably commenting on our appearance as a paladin, I'm guessing. You're kind of cute. You're kind of cute, guy. Hey, guy, you're kind of cute. Something like that. I don't know. It's not really the same tone. I don't know. Anyway, so that's how that goes in Japanese. Superness, hello, dear. So that second line, hello, dear, we'll say is that top line. Then the second line is missing on Superness. By the way, Superness passed negative 420 earlier, so what can we do for that? Alright, J2E. Hiya, cutie. Wink. I don't think that is reflective of the original. Take off a point on that. Naming way. Hey, cutie, chat with me for a while. Is trying. Maybe she is trying to solicit sales. But I'll take off a point. Alright. Now we're going to talk to another dancer looking girl. Koko wa kuki mo tabemono mo oishii shi, nan tatte onna ga oi no ga kiraku yo ne. Here, the air and the food are both delicious. So it's common for in Japanese oishii to mean delicious, but you can also say that like not even food, more than just food can be delicious. More than just food can be oishii in Japanese. You can say a conversation is oishii. Itoi is famous for saying oishii seikatsu or something like that, which is like delicious life. So oishii isn't just for food. Let me pull it up. Does it show up? Delicious or tasty? Okay. Anyway, so she's saying that the air here and the food here are delicious or tasty. When you say the air is delicious, maybe you're saying that the air is nice and fresh kind of feeling, or you could say the atmosphere. Maybe it's a good atmosphere here. So there's some Japanese wordplay going on there. So the air and the food here are delicious. Plus, it's nice that there are so many girls here. It makes it nice and easy that there's so many girls here. So Toroia is very like a very feminine place. Like a lot of like I think it's run by women. So I think that's referring to that. Superness. I love it here. The food with a capital F, that's pretty weird, I'm just take off a point on that, is good, and the land is beautiful. I don't know about land, I'm gonna take off a point for that. Also the fact that there's a lot of women, which makes it nice and easy. Kiraku is at ease or comfortable. So she's saying it's nice and easy and comfortable having so many girls here. So that point about girls is missing in Superness. J2E. The atmosphere here is great. Not only that, but a lot of guys drop by, so our evenings are fun, ... if you know what I mean. Oh, J2E. I'm gonna take off, well, what did it used to be? Okay, this used to say the atmosphere and food here are great. Not only that, there are tons of girls here, so our evenings are fun. Okay, so it's not about evenings necessarily. And then, but if you know what I mean was always in there. Alright, I'm gonna take off 2. Yeah, I'm gonna take off 3 there. Naming way, the air is good, the food's good, I love this place. Okay, so when she's saying this place, does that mean this establishment, or does this mean this city? This country of women? It's hard to say. Also, the air could be good because this is like a very lush, bountiful place. It's really hard to tell. But I'm gonna assume that this is talking about the bar, like this establishment. Alright. But the part about the women is missing. And Amy, we can take off a point there. Everyone kind of got bashed on this one. Alright. Now we're gonna talk to this dude. This dude, I do not understand this at all. I don't understand this guy at all. He goes, Mama. So he's talking to us. He's going, Mama. Maybe we are the proprietress of the place, because we're dressed all gaudily. We kind of look like maybe to some people we look flamboyantly dressed, so maybe we look like a woman. I don't know. Mama, skida, ge. Otoko janeka. That means mama, and mama in Japanese can mean a couple things. It can mean mom, or it can be a female proprietress of a bar. I'm assuming that's what's happening. Just like seeing us for that. Skida, I love you. Ge. That's just like a disgust sound, a sound of disgust. Otoko janeka, you're a dude. You're actually a guy. So I think they were mistaking Cecil for maybe a guy in drag, something like that. I'm not really sure. Never have understood this line. I want to talk to Sakaguchi or the writers. Talk to I don't know, Koji Kondo about this. Whatever this is going on here, Super NES just says having a good time, and that is not. So yeah, there's some sort of like sexual harassment-y adjacent things happening here. I don't know. Anyway, having a good time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. J2E. Oh baby, I think I love you. Ah, you're a guy. Alright, I'm gonna say that that's fine. Used to say, oh sweet mama, I love you. Ack, you're a guy. So it used to be a little closer and had the mama in there. All official translations refer to Stella. All official translations refer to as Stella. And I assume that this is related to the streetcar named Desire character, where they go Stella, but I have no idea. It makes no sense to me here either. This line is just a mystery to me. I wish people in Japan could explain this to me better. Is crazy to me. So Nami says, Stella, you're so beautiful. What? You're a man? So the ge became what? You're a man? Would like this. The disgust feels stronger. The tone is a little different. It's stronger, even stronger than what you feel here in naming way. So I took off a point. Whatever's going on here, call the X-Files people. Alright, I need to talk to the bartender lady. Yeah, I feel like that's one of those lines that probably won't stand the test of time. Alright, the bartender lady, the actual mama, as we would say, is Ara Oni-san. It's like, oh, and Oni-san is like Mr., or just like a guy who's like youthful. How does it come out on here? Oni-san. Older brother, elder brother, young man, buddy, fella, laddie. Oh, hello, fella. Dozo go hiki ni ne. So she's very polite. So please, go hiki ni, please. Like, be a patron to us. Yeah, like, please favor us with your business. Is how that kind of goes. Go hiki ni ne. This becomes a Super NES. Hi, what's up? J2E. Hello. What's your pleasure? Take off a point for that second line being not quite there. Naming way. Give me a holler if you want something. So not recognizing like our maleness, like we're a dude. Took off on J2E also. This place is like a landmine for I don't know, issues. Oh my gosh, get out of here. This guy's blocking my way. Okay. Alright, so now we are on the second floor of this establishment. And downstairs it was kind of like the riffraff, right? On the second floor things are more expensive. And it's a little bit more like the hostess club stuff that I was just showing. Let me bring it back up just so you can see what's going on. It's a little more clear what's happening now. This is like a Japanese host club as portrayed in the Yakuza series video games. And you pay these women and they'll sit with you and talk and chat and they'll try to trick you. Well, I guess not trick, but get you to pay for foods and drinks and things. So they're just like money vacuums, technically. Cute money vacuums. So that's what's happening. We're now at like the high class version of that. Also, there are male equivalents, host clubs. Host clubs are what, like Nomura from the Final Fantasy series. I swear he must have fallen in love with host clubs or something because he started dressing like them and looking like them, and all of his character designs in his Final Fantasies look like hosts. It really turned me off. Like, I like this kind of nonsense, sprite nonsense. Alright, so at the front of this like more expensive place is a blonde guy who says, "Okyaku-san, okane wa daijoubu kai? Kokara saki wa takai yo." And that means, "Sir, are you okay money-wise? It gets very expensive from here on out, or up ahead. It's expensive up ahead." So, the big bucks are being spent here. Alright, let's see this. Super NES, do you have enough GPs? It's gonna be a bit too expensive from here on. I don't like that 2 in there. I would take that out if I could. And then GPs is strange. Like, he just says okane. That means money. So do you have enough money? Why would you put GPs in there? Also, personally, if I was going to do this, I'd put GP instead. I'm not one of those persons who puts the S after like HP or MP. I don't say HPs or MPs. So I would say GP also. They're inconsistent with this extra S in the Super NES translation, as if you look around. Alright, would have liked this Okyaku-san as like sir. Would have been nice to have that in there. Very nice, like, formal politeness in there. Alright, but it's fine. J2E, sir, do you have enough money? It gets pretty expensive up here. Yeah, that's fine. Naming way really crunches things down. Got enough gil? Nothing comes cheaply up here. No, it feels like he's like a receptionist guy. Not just some weird NPC here. I don't like this. I don't like that tone. Yeah, just something about it feels off to me. Alright. Oh, I get to do a secret trick in a second, and it might be annoying. Alright, so we can see there's 2 rooms up here, like private rooms. And we have, in this room, on the left, we have a man who's the customer sitting with a woman at a table. And they're probably chatting and drinking and stuff, and you can see that there's bottles on the table. So this is a hostess club. And there's also an old lady in the room with them. I'm not sure why. We'll see in a second. And this other room to the right has an old man with 2 women at the table, and there's some sort of, like, I guess, a server running around. I'm not really sure. And then there's a guy at the end of the hallway. I don't know what his deal is, but he's like hiding outside of the right room. So maybe it's related to someone in the right room. Alright. This dude, who's kind of young, says, "Kuso ano jiji, boku no Jennifer ni." That means, damn, that geezer took my Jennifer. It's common for like at hostess clubs to have your favorites, and you can call them by name. It usually costs more to call someone like specifically. Usually you'll just get assigned someone. But anyway, so apparently this guy really likes one of the hostesses named Jennifer. But this old guy is paying for her right now. And maybe like putting the moves on her, I don't know. Call her 867-5309. What do we got for that? Alright, we're going into the left room. And we're going to talk to the old lady first. Koko wa kain-sei da yo. Sa, deteta, deteta. That means we have a membership system here. So now get out, get out. And you can see that technically she's using like the past tense, past progressive tense. Deteta, deteta. It's kind of common for that to just be used as a certain type of command form. So like I said in the last stream, tenses don't always line up perfectly with tenses in other languages. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. Okay, so this is like a members system. We have a member system here. Now get out, get out. Super NES. Members only, kid. She's not telling us to get out, like she's shooing us out. That sa sort of gives a shooing us out. What is like that sha? Or what am I saying? Sha? Shoo? But I'll say it's okay. J2E. Hey, this is for members only. Get out of here now. It's a little stronger than I would think, but... Alright. Naming way. Members only. Now get. It's kind of strong. These are all weird in their own weird ways. I'm going to say they're okay, but my day will be slightly saddened by it. Alright. We're going to talk to the hostess now. Kondo wa kegawa ga hoshii wa. Well, yeah, it's very common at hostess clubs. They will ask for gifts. Like they would want like jewelry. They want jewelry. You want to buy jewelry and things. Especially if you're like a personal favorite. So she's asking, next time I want a fur, okay? Like a fur coat, okay? Or just like a fur something. Kegawa is fur. Kegawa is a fur, skin, pelt. So next time I want a fur. And that wa is very feminine. Alright. That becomes a Super NES. Well, well, well. Very wrong. What are you doing there, Super NES? J2E. Give me a guy with no chest hair next time. What in the world? What in the world, J2E? I gotta give you a good one for that. What is... And that's how it was all along, so it gets double. Naming way. Baby, give me a fur coat next time. Alright. That baby is pretty good. It helps with that extra femininity I was telling you about. Fur is in there. Naming way gets it. Naming way got it. Hooray. I'm giving it a point because that's a miracle. Okay, now we'll talk to the actual client, the customer. Yosha, yosha, nandemo kottaru sakai ni na. So this is extremely heavy Kansai dialect, Western Japanese dialect. He's saying, all right, I'll buy you whatever you want. I'll buy you everything you want. All right, Super NES. Yes, yes, yes. And then that's it. So that second line is missing. I would have loved to see how they would convey that. It feels very Osaka. This is like Osaka is hell. Mecha Osaka. All right. All right, J2E. All right. I'll tell you who your daddy is. No. Naming way. Anything for you. That first line I would have liked, and because he's it's hard to convey it, but he's saying yosha, and that's like all right, or he's just really pumped up and excited because she has got him all pumped up and excited, and maybe he's drinking even, you know. He's all pumped up and ready to just like splurge on her like crazy. That's what that yosha is. I would have liked that naming way. Alright. I'm being a little picky there, but he really wants really wants to please her. I want to make sure that she gets pleased. All right. Now we're in the right private room. And this is the like servant lady. Like not servant, but like the server. Like the person who brings the food and the drinks and stuff, I guess. So, bleh, I gotta drink water in a second. She says, Ori ori hakonde konakucha. I gotta bring the food. I gotta bring the meal. I bring the food. I don't know, she should just go get some food instead of running around, but okay. Super NES says, more food coming. Super NES and Naming Way both say more food coming. At least the food and coming are involved. Alright, I'll just say that's fine. J2E, I gotta bring the food. J2E's a little better there. Alright. Now, we're gonna talk to the old man who has two hostesses. The old man says, well, there's an easy type change. So he says, Sono toki ja, washi ga goburi ni critical hit ja. And it was at that moment that I gave the goblin a critical hit. So he's telling a story of him like fighting monsters. He did a critical hit on a goblin. And goblins in Final Fantasy IV are called imps. In Final Fantasy II Super NES, for reference. Okay, so first let's look at the easy type change. Sono toki ja, washi ga mamono ni critical hit ja. That's when I gave the monster a critical hit. So for some reason they changed it from goblin, and I have no idea why they would change that. They changed it to just monster. I gave the monster a critical hit. For that, I'm just like confused. So alright, that's my take on easy type. I don't know why you changed that. Okay, so that became in Super NES. And then I dealt the imp a hard blow. Yeah, so he's basically saying what he's saying in Japanese, but that phrase, I dealt the imp a hard blow, I think I remember some friends like chuckling at that phrasing. But it's in there. J2E. And then I killed the goblin with a mighty blow from my staff and... I really like that it uses the word critical hit. That's the whole point. Like, that is the, it's a game mechanic. Critical hits are a game mechanic. They're all missing that like, reference to a game mechanic. That's sad. He used to say, J2E also had and etc. etc. Took that out. That was a good point. Alright, naming way. ... That's when I dealt a mighty blow to the imp. Would have liked critical hit to have survived. It's an English word, critical and hit. I would have liked that. It's so weird. I don't know why. It's a game mechanic word. Okay. Now we're talking to the main hostess lady, it looks like. There's an easy type change here too. In Japanese, she says, Kono oji-san, mukashi no buyuden bakari de mo unzari. This old man keeps talking about his heroic adventures. I'm so sick of it. Buyuden is a fun phrase, like a martial story is what it says here, but it's just like your like manly war stories or something like that. It's just like your manly stories. Buyuden is a fancy word, so they changed that in easy type to just the word for story. This old man just tells old stories. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired of it. Sick and tired of it. Tedious, bored of it. That's how that goes. Okay. Super NES. He keeps telling us about his heroic episode over and over and over again. I would have liked that part about being fed up with it, but it's embedded in there, so it's pretty good. I like it. J2E. This old man talks of nothing but old war stories. I'm so sick of it. Would have liked it to say his, not just old war stories, yeah. Because any old war story, he could be talking about like World War II or something, but he's talking about his like heroic stories, not war stories. I'm so sick of it is correct though. Naming way. He keeps retelling the same boring old story. Buyuden is a specific type of story. I would have liked that to be better in naming way. Alright, so there's one more hostess girl here. However, you can't reach her. Right? There's no way to get to her. But I invented a cheat code to make it happen. I'm going to attempt to do that cheat code now. Alright, it's going to be a little hard. It's going to take me a couple tries, so bear with me. Nope, not yet. Oh, I messed up. I'm on top of her. I'm under her now. This is going to take me... Okay, let me just keep going. Got it. Ta-da! Let me just do... Alright, so we can actually talk to her now. This was something I always wanted to do as a kid. I wanted to see what that text was. And now I'm here. But as you'll learn, when the text line is not assigned to anyone, it will just take the first line from that text bank. This is text bank 2. And the first line of text is that guy at the front saying it's going to be expensive here, I think. So let's check. Yep, it says Okyaku-san. It says, do you have enough GPs? It's going to be a bit too expensive from here on. And you can see down at the bottom, down here, you can see this one. It's because it's the first line of the text bank. So she didn't really have any text at all. She just pulls from the default, emergency default, I guess. Alright, so I've shown that off. My time on Earth is now done. I can leave Earth, return to my home planet. Uh-oh. That's kind of cool looking right there. He was like half fire coming through the fireplace. Alright. So that's all that place. I don't know. I feel like that was probably a war zone for... This whole place has just been terrible for the Super NES, I think. They're just like cutting all of this content. Like I'm surprised they didn't just cut this whole area. They could have just cut this whole room, you know? There's not much to it. It's not part of the important part of the game or anything. In the same way they took out the debug room, the developer's room, they could have just taken this place out. Alright, so we have a pass. Okyaku-sama, kainsho wa omochi de. So being very polite, the way that like a professional establishment employee would talk. That's like saying sir, or I guess you could say ma'am, or like honorable customer. Do you have a membership certificate or whatever? That politeness gets dropped down in Super NES to, do you have a pass? Just straight up, do you have a pass? I won't mark off on that. J2E, do you have a membership card? I would have liked like a sir in there or something. Naming way, pass please. Man, Okyaku-sama isn't even that difficult. See, it says honorable, like, guest, visitor, customer on this thing here. And Omochi Day is also very polite. None of them are doing the proper politeness. So I'm gonna just go boink, boink, boink. And because of that, alright, it's getting a little dark. I'm gonna turn on the light. Alright. I tried to give him a potion. I'm gonna try to bribe him with some ether, knock him out, and try to get in. Didn't work. Darn it. What else can I try? Maybe some vegetables? Diet food? Maybe he'll be acceptable with that. Alright, let's give him what he wants. You actually have to like save up money to afford this, but it was so easy for me this time. All right, so I've given him the identification that he desires, and it looks like there's a hidden doorway he's standing next to. Anyway, in Japanese he says "Dewa go yukkuri o tanoshimi kudasai." And he's being as polite as you could probably be. Now then, please enjoy your time. Please, just being very polite about please enjoy your time or something like that. Superness, have a good time. J2E, enjoy yourselves. Anyway, have a good time. Tonally all kind of weird, but it doesn't matter. This guy is not like super important. So we have to go through the secret passageway. And now we have arrived at a secret underground area. Which reminds me, if you know me for a long time, you know that I loved a show called Food Fight. It basically created the current me, the person that I am today, because of this show called Food Fight. And it was a Japanese show, aired in 2000, and it caused a kid to die at one point, and so the show was never brought back. It was never released on DVD, never re-aired, nothing, for 26 years. But today it was re-released on Hulu. I don't know if it's on international Hulu, but it's on Japanese Hulu, and it just came out of nowhere. It is the craziest thing that show showed up. So if you ever encounter Food Fight, please watch it. It is great. It is fundamental to my soul. All right, that is the ad for Food Fight. This ad brought to you by Hulu. Okay, we are now in a pub called O-sama. O-sama is king. I remember when we did the Google translation of this 10 years ago. Google translated this as Pub Osama, like Osama bin Laden. Alright. So in Super NES, this became a saloon instead of a pub. I kind of like that it's a saloon. I'm going to say that's fine. They could have said saloon all along instead of cafe, right? Somehow saloons are okay. Saloon King, and King is all caps. I don't know why. Alright, J2E, King Pub. And the name anyway, Court of Kings. Alright. Can I go in there yet? Alright, so I didn't pay to go in here yet, but, or whatever. There's an old man. Alright, so there's just a big dance platform with 3 thrones on top. There's a bunch of dancing gonna happen up here with some pretty girls. And there's a lone guy in the audience. Let's talk to this lone old man. Mappiru makara anta mo suki ja no. So mappiruma. So that's right in the middle of broad daylight. Right in the middle of the day. Kind of feeling. So you're not even hiding. You're just here in the middle of the day. Anta mo suki ja no. You must really like this to be here in broad daylight like this. So that's what he's saying. Super NES. Did you like it? Well, I loved it. I don't know what that means. Take that off. J2E. Damn, I wish I was as young as you. ... You can tell it's wrong just from the delivery, so mark that off. Naming way. Fantastic. No. So everyone's just failing on this right now. Alright. Going secretly backstage. There are girls back here, or just a girl back here with a bunch of empty chests. Alright. Let's talk to this girl. Kya! That's an eek sound. Eek. Just a little shriek sound. Kya! Gakuya ni haite konaide yo. That's a feminine way of saying don't come into the backstage, don't come into the dressing room. Super NES. Hey, this is the dressing room. Okay, that's fine. J2E. Kya. What? Didn't you get enough of us during the show? Stay out of the dressing room. Okay, that what? Didn't you get enough of us? Was an added line. was always in there though. Naming way. Pervert! This is the dressing room. No, not necessarily pervert. In this Kya, I would have liked this to be translated in J2E. I'll take off a point on J2E there. At least put something else there. Alright, now let's go do this properly. We have to go over here and talk to guys. Alright, so now we're talking to like the guy at the counter. Irashaimase. And that's what you say to someone when you're welcoming them to your establishment. Irashaimase. So it's usually just like welcome. Mamonaku show time de gozaimasu. Being polite. So it will be showtime soon. Soon the show will start, kind of feeling. Super NES. Welcome. The grand show, capitalized, is about to begin. I guess that's okay. J2E. Welcome. It'll be showtime shortly. If you enjoy the show, please remember to be generous with the tips. And that was added for the new patch in 2001. That line was made up, so I took off a point just now. Naming way. The grand show is about to begin. ... Why would... that's such strange delivery about that. Also, we're not welcome, apparently. Alright, here we go. We're going to have a dance routine. Alright. The lighting in the room changes. Cecil looks around. Walks forward. Girls start dancing. Where'd they come from? They're doing a show dance of some sort. They're doing... some sprites are twirling and jumping back and forth, and swishing and swooshing, and they're twirling again. They pull Cecil up to the main throne, and he's confused, and all the girls have surrounded him. He is about to die from girl distress. And he looks down. He must be shy, or dead, or dying. Too many girls. You can't look at them. And all the girls are slowly one by one leaving. Last girl does a twirl and leaves. Cecil walks forward, looks around again, and we are now in control again. Cecil is now available for control. Alright, now let's talk to the old guy now. Yep, he says the same thing as he did before. Alright. If I talk to this guy again, will it happen again? If you believe so, type 1 in the chat. If you think it will be a new line of text, please type 2 in the chat. And if you think that the game will crash, type 3 to 1-800-STAR-FOX. Wait, there's more. There are more shows? Oxford is saying there's more shows, possibly? Alright, here we go. Uh-oh, it's about to start again. Whoever said 1, you deserve... In after years? Okay. After years isn't real. After years is the Star Wars sequels. Alright. Cecil really wants to get back on that throne. Just watching them dance, doing their little sprite dances. I like this a lot more than maybe like 3D model dances. Just the pure funness and simplicity of it. I like it more than like carefully modeled dancing with like actual like rigged up dancer animations. Right, let's get out of here. What if we got lost on the way back and we couldn't get out? Alright, so this whole establishment was just was an explosive device attached to the Super NES script. It lost a lot of points. Oh, she's in the way. So, oh yeah, okay. There's the Black Chocobo room, or just the Chocobo Nursery. We'll go there now. There's a good chance we won't make it to the Magnetic Cave today after all, because we have to do the castle next. We have about like an hour and 20 minutes left. I don't know. Okay, so now we are at the a new building in Toroia Town. It's called the Kuro Chocobo Hoikuen. And the Black Chocobo like nursery Hoikuen. How's this go? Nursery school, day nursery. Yeah, it's just like a garden where you raise things feeling. So nursery is maybe a good one, but Black Chocobo Farm, Black Chocobo Farm, Black Chocobo Ranch. I would say that Black Chocobo Ranch would not be good. Even farm feels weird because it's all like underground. I've never heard of an underground ranch. I actually went to school in multiple ranches buildings. I have a weird school past. I ate in a barn for lunch at that school, but I went to multiple schools with ranches. Alright. So their guy here is saying, Yutaka na midori to mizu no okage de koku ja shinsen na yasai ga ippai toreru. Oh, Paul might be home. Alright. Thanks to the bountiful greenery and water, we can get lots of fresh vegetables here. That's what that means. Okage de chocobo no shiku mo sakan nanda. Thanks to that, chocobo raising, shiku, chocobo breeding, raising, rearing is like very prosperous here. So like chocobos, raising chocobos is good here because you get all those fresh vegetables. Super NES. Thanks to nature, we have lots of fresh veggies, and even the chocobos are with us here. Thanks to nature, so the greenery and the water got shoved down into just nature. There's nature everywhere. There's nature in Kaipo. Okay, would have liked that. And even the chocobos are here with us. No, it's saying that like raising chocobos, this is a good place to raise chocobos as a result. So I'll take off that point as well. Alright, J2E. Because of the pure water and fertile soil, we can get plenty of fresh vegetables. Therefore, it's an ideal environment for breeding chocobos. Okay, that's quite good. The old J2E had it closer with water and plants. Midori is green or greenery. It changed it to fertile soil. And if you step outside, you see all that greenery out there, all that green. I would have liked them to have kept that in there, but they did such a good job that I'll give them a pass here. Naming way. Thanks to our rich soil, we have lots of fresh Gasol greens for our birdie pals. There's a lot happening here. The water and greenery are the important thing here, not the soil. But the whole part about raising them is the important thing here. So I took off a point of naming way. Right, there's some books here. Chocobo no Seitai. So like the Seitai is like ecology. Yeah, like the way that chocobos live, just like the things about them. It's hard to explain. Ecology is we don't really use that word so much in English like that. I guess biology is the closest for Seitai. Seitai. That becomes all those chocobos. So this is like a fancy textbook feeling. Chocobo no Seitai. All those chocobos sounds like maybe it could just be like a generic book for like average audiences or children maybe. I'll take out a point. Biology of chocobos is closer. And naming way did all of those chocobos. Okay. Here's one that is more for average people. Anata ni mo kaeru chocobo. Chocobos that you can raise yourself. Or something like that. Kaeru is to keep one as a pet. Is it on here? Kaeru. Keep as a pet. Oh well. How to breed chocobos is not right there. J2E. You too can hatch chocobos. No. It is about having them as pets. Choco breeding is also wrong. Alright. I'm being super picky on that. Why is this secret door here? Why is this a secret door? Alright. Now we're in the Kuro Chocobo Hoikuen. This is the same as before. There is, we're downstairs now. And there's like a little pen with a bunch of black chocobos, well I guess purple chocobos, all running around. And there's like some pots and containers with food in them. And there's a fence keeping the chocobos in. There's a little girl outside the fence. Chocobo te kawaii da kedo chotto kusai no yo ne. So chocobos, they're cute, but they kind of stink too, don't they? Alright. Chotto kusai is like a little bit stinky. Superness, they are cute. ... But stink a bit. That's fine. It's kind of first draft feeling, but it's fine. J2E. Chocobos are cute, but ... Woo! They smell bad. Would have liked that to be closer to the little bit stinky. That makes it seem like they're extra stinky. Maybe they are, but she's saying a little bit stinky. Naming way. They're so cute, ... but kinda stink. Looks like a rephrasing of the superness here. Alright, that's all fine. I'm going to look. There's a poster on the wall here. Let me look at this poster. Okay, it looks to be a headline on a newspaper. Shinshu no chocobo hakken saru. That means new breed of chocobo discovered. And it's written in like a headline style, like a fancy headline. Kuro chocobo to mei. So new breed of chocobo discovered, named Kuro chocobo, black chocobo. So someone has named them. They decided to give them a name, and they called them the black chocobo. Mei. Name, christening. Alright. And then Toroia Shimbun, so Toroia newspaper. Alright. Superness. Found the black chocobos. Toroia news. That makes it sound like they were always seeking them, and they found them. But no, they were discovered, and then they were given a name. So I'm going to take off a point on Superness for being like a little off there. J2E. Advanced chocobos discovered. Black chocobos. No, they're not advanced, and also the fact that they were named a certain way should be in there, so I took off 2 points there. Toroia newspaper. Naming way. Discovery. The black chocobos. That was kind of interesting. Toroia Tribune. I like that they gave it like a newspaper name. It's kind of fun. I would have liked it to say literally, this is a new breed, like a new type. Basically never discovered before. The fact that it's new is really the important thing. I'm going to be nice on that one. No, the naming part was also missing. I could go either way on that, so I just took everyone off. One, and J2E got off two. There's a secret passage. And there's two people in the secret passage. A little boy with red hair says, Boku mo kuro chocobo de tobitai yo. I want to fly on a black chocobo too. Demo boku ga chikazuku to okoru nda. But they get angry when I get close. I ga tarinai no kana. Maybe I don't have enough love? That's how that feels. Alright. Superness. I want to fly on the black chocobos. But my mom says the ones here can't fly anymore. So the part about them getting angry when he gets close is missing. And the fact that he's like thinking maybe it's his fault because he doesn't have enough love is missing too. So 2 points off on that. J2E. I want to fly on a black chocobo, but they always get mad whenever I go near them. Do I not love them enough? Okay, that's good. Basically the same in the old time. Naming way. I want to fly on a black chocobo, but mom says these ones can't anymore. Alright, now. Two off on that, similar to Super NES. Alright, now we have just a regular guy in the secret zone. And it looks like there's an easy type change here. Alright, this is quite a bit of text for a random NPC. Mezurashi daro? Rare, don't you think? Rare, aren't they? Kuro chocobo tenda. They're called black chocobos. Rare, aren't they? They're called black chocobos. Okay. Oh man. All of the text, all of the different translations go in their own wild directions on this one. Let me just read the whole thing. Koitsura wa hito ni nareta sei ka tobenaku nachimatta kedo, kita no chocobo no mura ni iru yasei no kuro chocobo nara, kodo wa hikui ga sora mo tobu ze. Alright, that's a lot of text, but it's pretty simple. It's basically saying these ones, maybe because they've gotten used to people, can no longer fly. But the chocobos, the wild chocobo, the wild black chocobos in the chocobo forest to the north can fly, although not very high. Alright, whew. So that's how all that goes. There's even more. Tadashi, mori ni shika orirenai kedo na. However, they can only land in forests. That's how all that goes. Easy type. What do we got? They changed some of the phrasing. Okay, yeah, it's the same text. They just kind of like took out some of the crustier stuff to it. Just like a little harder to, the unimportant stuff. It's okay. It's basically the same. Super NES. The wild ones out in the Chocobo's village, capitalized, still can fly a little bit and land in woods. You can find them in the Chocobo's village north of here. Alright, so the part that may be is because that they've gotten used to people. And so first they're saying rare, aren't they? These are called black chocobos. So, okay, those two lines are missing. Because he's bringing us into the conversation here. Mizurashi daro? Rare, don't you think? So these ones have maybe gotten used to people, so they can't fly anymore. So that part is missing in naming way. Or I mean Super NES. But the wild ones can still fly, and you can go to the north of here. Okay, all that's in there. That's fine now. Okay, now we're moving to J2E. Have you ever seen these? They're black chocobos. So no, he's kind of saying that these are rare. Oh yeah, so the old J2E patch had that better. Alright. They're black chocobos. That's fine. Since these chocobos have been tamed by humans, they can't fly anymore. It's more like they've gotten used to people. But I guess that's the same-ish. However, the wild ones in the Chocobo village to the north can fly, although not very high. They can only land in forests, unfortunately. Okay, that stuff's good. Okay, naming way. The wild ones out in the Chocobo village can still fly a bit and land in woods. The village is in the forest to the north. So much was crunched down and squished out of it. So the first two sentences are missing. The part about becoming used to people so they don't fly anymore is missing. Let's see. Wild ones fly a bit. I wish it would say can't fly very high. The village is in the forest. Okay, so everything else is okay here. Alright, let's continue. Negative 444 for Super NES. What do we got? What do I got here?
I miss you.
Alright. So when we talk to the Chocobos, we're in the Chocobo pen. The Chocobos go kyun, kyun. That's the sound that they make. And Chocobo sounds have been like a fun rivalry in the English-speaking world because some Chocobos will sometimes go kwe, and then sometimes they'll go work. And there's sort of like a timeline to when these choices came about, and then I think they've kind of like merged and like also diverged and all kinds of just, it's kind of complicated now. There's probably now a reason for one and one for the other in translation, but here in FF4 these ones go kyun, kyun. And Super NES that goes kook, kook, spelled with C-O-O-O-C, C-O-O-O-C. They love those triple O's. Oops, all O's. J2E. Kyun, kyun. Kind of strangely formatted. And naming way is work. Everyone does their own formatting. It's kind of interesting to see. Please choose your favorite Chocobo sounds. And then YouTube, let me know your preferred Chocobo sounds. And also let me know what the initial Chocobo sound you remember being. I think Kwe was mine. Don't remember. Alright. I think they all say the same thing. Kyun, 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 kyun. I wonder if like I would have to talk to all these to like fill up my completion meter. Alright. So there is a person inside the pen. It's a lady. A lady with red hair. Let's talk to this lady with red hair surrounded by stinky chocobos. There's another easy type change in here. She says, Kuro chocobo wa tabi no kairi michi o oboete ite, jibun de modotte kureru no. So black chocobos will remember the way back on your journey and will return on their own for you. Like they'll leave. They'll return. They'll take you back. Like it's a thing that they'll do for you. It's a good thing. They'll do it on their own. Demo, kisho ga arai kara ichio fuku de nigechau kedo ne. But they have a what is a good certain type of temperament. They have a like rough, rude, wild, coarse temperament. So they'll run away after like one full trip, there and back. Ofuku is like going round trip. Alright, so that's how that goes. So they'll do things for you, but then they'll run away. Super NES. Wait, how's the easy type? It takes out the part that I kind of tripped on earlier. There's just some minor changes, but nothing major. Super NES. Black chocobos remember their home and will take you back there. So their temperament is not mentioned. I would like that to have been in the Super NES. We're going to learn more about their biology. Not so much biology, but behavior. Yeah, that second line basically was missing. Okay, J2E. Black chocobos always remember their way back home and will return there. But after all, since they're feral animals, they run away after only one trip. I'll say it's okay. This word is a little strange there. Alright. Oh man, I'm just about to yawn there. Okay. Naming way. Black chocobos fly right back home after a round trip. You can see all of that detail getting out. The way that naming way is kind of like having to like just cut text so badly. That's how it was back in the day for like Ted Woolsey and others. Just you really have to just wring all of that flavor and information out of the original text, and you just get like the bare bones like this. This is a good example of that. Alright. I would have liked the temperament stuff, their behavior stuff. And the fact that they do remembering is cool. Alright. Took off some points there. Alright, I think that's it here. We can now go to the castle. Let me just get out of here. I'm just gonna magic my way out of here. Let's see, so the barf, blah, as he spins around. Alright. So it looks like we spent quite a long time in there. The next thing up is we're going to go to the castle. We're going to go to the castle next, and then that's probably all we're going to do for today. We won't end up going to the magnetic cave probably. But I want to take a break. I want to go to the bathroom and see what Poe's up to, and then I'll come back. Probably about 4 to 5 minutes. So I will send you here. Why don't you save state? Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Please think of funny Chocobo jokes. Okay, I'm back. Poe got that new Pokemon game, the Pokopia or whatever that is. I don't think I'm going to see her for another 100 years now. Oh, we got some good Chocobo jokes. What's a Chocobo's favorite cereal? Cune Flakes. I like that one. That's a good job. You get this. What's Chocobo's favorite anime? Chocobo bo 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 bo. Alright. Okay. So, if my memory serves me, there's a lot of text in this castle, and we might not finish that today. But we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do what we can, and then in about, I don't know, 40 to 60 minutes, we'll stop. Alright. Oh yeah. Don't worry, we'll talk to the frogs, you guys. Alright, so we are now at Toroia Joe, which is Toroia Castle. It becomes Toroian Castle, Toroia Castle, and Toroia Castle. There's a thing, whenever there's like a T and R in English, we tend to say it with like a CH sound. It always bugs me. And it's been a big problem with like my Choctaw learning. I really want a T in there sometimes, and so one dialect has TCH, so that the TCH makes sense. Anyway, Toroia Castle. Like I don't say train, I say train. Yeah, okay, that's the T. Mr. T pities the fool. Alright, so this is a big castle. If you're not familiar with the game, this castle is run by women. Like a group of women. What's a Chocobo's favorite double dragon enemy? Chocobo, okay. Right. So this first soldier out front says, Yo koso Toroia Joe. So welcome to Toroia Castle. Supernia says, welcome to Toroia. But we were just there. That was the town. We're at the castle. Took off a point. J2E, welcome to Toroia Castle. Naming way, welcome to Toroia Castle. Why, thank you. Okay, this other guard says, Tabi no okata desu ne. Yukuri shitete kudasai. So you are very polite to us using okata instead of tabi bito or tabi no hito. Being quite polite. For a guard, that's kind of surprising. You must be a traveler. Please make yourself at home. Please take it easy here. Something like that. How does this thing do it? Yukuri state. So just take your time here and be at ease is how it feels. Oh, looks like they added this. Okay, tabi no kata desu ne. They took out that O for some reason. I wonder why. Does okata become something else? I don't know. You can see okata as like lady or gentleman in English. You don't just say person. Alright. So, Super NES, please feel free at home. It doesn't recognize that we're a traveler. Also, it's singular. So, J2E. I guess it could be plural. It's hard to say, but J2E. Oh, travelers, please make yourselves at home. It could be singular, but I don't care. It could be by either, I guess. Naming way. Make yourselves at home. Right, take off that one. Okay, there's two more guards. This one says, oh yeah, just for if you're jumping in or you don't remember the story, there's one crystal left, and it's the crystal of Earth, and it belongs to this kingdom of Toroia, and we're supposed to go get it. And then Kane will show up, and then we're gonna trade it for Rosa. That's the idea. We're here to get the Earth Crystal, so we can trade it and get Rosa. So this guard is now saying, Kristaru no koto de, are you here on business about the crystal? That's how that kind of goes. Naraba, Jounai no Shinkan sama tachi ni awareru ga yoi. In that case, present yourself to the priestesses inside the castle. Technically, it doesn't say priestesses, it just says like there's no gender attached, but we're going to learn that they're priestesses. Shinkan is like a, is it in here? It's not on like a weird dictionary thing, but it's like a cleric, you could sometimes say. A cleric, but priestesses is fine also. And Sama is, okay. So present yourselves to the priestesses inside the castle. Super NES, about the crystal, and talk to the clerics inside the castle. Is that clunky early 1990s Square first draft writing? It feels like straight out of like the Game Boy translations they did back in the day too, but it's all in there. I like it. J2E, are you here about the crystal? Then you should talk to the clerics inside the castle. I feel like the tone could be better. They're all pretty like formal and It sounds like they have like a real strong system in place. Naming Way. Naming Way pulls from the 3DS. Talk to the Epops if you wish to know about the crystal. So in Japanese, Shinkan-sama, even though it's like not on this dictionary here, because that's my fault, because it could unfold further. Shinkan is a pretty standard word for like a religious official. And so clerics kind of makes sense. Clerics kind of makes sense. But in the 3DS version, and thus the Naming Way version here, they use a new word, epopt. And that's fine, it doesn't matter, but it's not a common standard English word, so it's lost a little bit immediately what's being spoken about, although in Japanese it's pretty clear. So because the 3DS version tries to use that higher fantasy vibe with all of its text, a lot of the proper nouns like this will be raised out of the realm of standard understanding, if that makes sense. It's sort of a strength and a weakness with the 3DS translation. It's really, I admire the guts to go with that stuff and stick with it. Alright. The tone on this is so weird though, like maybe this got truncated down from that full 3DS version. Yeah, like it's not welcoming. It's not as welcoming. What was that again? Oh yeah, just formatting changes. Okay, we got another one here. Get back to work. Oh man, we just gotta keep up the Chocobo puns for the rest of the stream. Alright. This other guard says Shinkan-sama wa kami ni tsukaeru gen shuku na okata. Okay. So the priestesses, or the clerics, or the epops, I guess you could say, they are solemn. They are. Here's the kata again. That's probably what's going to change. Is the kata to okata? Nope. Okay, easy type's inconsistent with itself. Solemn, right? Genshuku is how I see it. Yeah, grave, solemn, austere, dignified. Okay, so they are solemn. Solemn. It's really tough to twist this into English, but they serve the gods solemnly. The priestesses are great people who solemn people who serve the gods. Skaeru is like serve, work for, and kami is serve God. Although dictionaries will sometimes like put in like a singular god with a capital G. But kami can just mean any kind of god. Technically, kami is more like a deity, divinity, spirit, or it's just kind of like, it's not just a god, so it's hard to say what exactly it is. Alright. Kuregure mo shitsure no nai you ni na. So please do your best to not show them rudeness. That's how that goes. Still being very polite about it all. Just saying, don't be rude to those clerics. They serve the gods or the spirits or whatever. All right, oh yeah. So since we're talking about gods, we can just assume that Super NES is not going to talk about those gods. They're going to come up with something else. And so what happens here is the eight clerics govern this country. That is not the case. I mean, maybe they do, but that's not what's being said in Japanese. Make sure to be polite to them, understand? Kind of goes in a roundabout way to say to not be rude, but that's okay. J2E. The 8 clerics are dignified messengers of God. So this makes it sound like there's like a singular God, and the phrasing here makes it sound like there's possibly a Christian style God. Maybe the Christian God, I don't know. Alright, so 8, technically the number 8 is nowhere in the Japanese text here. The number 8 appeared suddenly in the Super NES, and thus it suddenly appeared in the J2E patch. You can see that the 8 was added in later in the 2001 patch, which means that someone must have been looking at the Super NES script while editing this patch. And maybe that's why we're getting a lot of like the Super NES just copying. And it looks like it said, try not to be rude to them. This should have been more polite sounding, but this was closer. Please conduct yourselves accordingly is quite good. 8 clerics are dignified messengers of God. Please conduct yourselves accordingly. That's pretty good. I like that phrase. Alright. This God is very... You gotta be real careful with that. You gotta be real careful with that. Okay, naming away. I took off my points though. Messengers, but they like, it's more like they serve, they're not necessarily messengers. Take off the messenger point. Naming way. The Epops are solemn servants of the divine. There's a good way to do that. Conduct yourselves with the utmost respect. Okay. Really like naming way. Did a good job here. Oops. I messed up. Alright, now we can go inside the castle, but we're not doing that. You can actually talk to frogs. There's frogs in this moat, in the secret area. Kerdo is what the frog says, and that's just the ribbit sound. Or croak sound. Kerdo even looks like the word croak. Kerdo, croak. Okay, so Kerdo became croak, and Super NES. And J2E. Yes, my name is Jeremiah. How did you know? Alright, chat. We're going to look at the old J2E. Do you think this is a new one? Or do you think it's always been this way? Type 1 if it's new, and 2 if it's always been this way. And that way, we'll know. I'll do a couple seconds and then we'll jump. My guess is that it has always been this way. My guess is 2, personally. Here we get mostly 1s. Oh, now we're tied. Alright, so let's look. Here we go. Oh, it was new. It was croak originally. So whoever was like cheat sheeting off of the Super NES for the editing was also just like, I'm gonna work in designs this game. Alright. So 2 points. Oh wait. It's 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, my name is Jeremiah. How did you know? Jeremiah is a bullfrog, is like a lyric from a song. How did you know is not in there also, so I took off a point there. And for this, you get... Alright, naming way is ribbit. Okay. I'm glad naming way is not like going into the crazy town. Is there another one there? What's going on? Why can't I walk there? Okay, got some more. Okay, this one says the same thing, so we won't rehash that. So being able to talk to frogs, this isn't the first time this has happened in a Final Fantasy game. In Final Fantasy 3, you actually have to turn into a frog to progress through parts of the game. So frogs are like a kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but I will in a second. Alright, this frog actually speaks English. I mean, they spoke English back, or Japanese back in Silvera, but these ones seem to be actual frogs, but this one can speak. Kairu wa ii na. Frogs sure are great. ... Let me bring up, there's a whole point to all of this. So this line is actually a reference to a comic about a scene from Final Fantasy 3. So let me bring this up. Well, first, the comic that I'm about to show you comes from this book. It's going to be a jump scare, so watch out. I'm going to make a jump scare occur. Alright. What you're looking at is a comic, like a series of comics of from like an artist who would do like comics for Famitsu and stuff. And so this is a compilation. This is like part 1 of a compilation of a bunch of like funny, weird, disturbing comics about video game characters. And we have a really creepy Mario on the screen right now. So in this, this artist at one point made a comic based on Final Fantasy III. But first, here's the Final Fantasy III. You actually turn into frogs to progress the story in Final Fantasy III for Famicom. And then I got the fan translation, I think. And you have to become the frog. You have to become a frog to progress. So that's the background. In Final Fantasy III, you had to be frogs. And after this came out, that comic author made this comic. And I translated it into English. You can't really read it on here because the screen might be too small. But if you look on my site, legendsforlocalization.com, I have this comic on there. Originally, it's just the left side comic, and the right side is my translation. I don't know if I can even read it. Let me try to read this. All right, so we're gonna look at the left comic, and because of how it works, we're looking at the top. Kaeru wa ii na, hontou ni kaeru wa ii na. So I mean, frogs are great. It sure is great being a frog. And this other frog is saying, kaeru wa ii. So they're basically the frogs from Final Fantasy III, and like they used to be people, but now they're frogs, and they're like, whoa, frog, being a frog is great. Sure is great being a frog. Yep, it's great being a frog. And then the second panel, you know, maybe we should just forget all about saving the world and crystals and all that stuff and just live as frogs for the rest of our lives. And then the other frog says, oh, that sounds great. That sounds great. And then the main frog is just like thinking about it and is just really enraptured in the idea. And then we see that this is actually just a game being played. And a woman is saying, what's the matter, sir? And then the game player is saying, now I really want to beat the game in frog form. So the idea is that the joke is just like, now that we're frogs, it's just great being a frog. And so this line, is great being a frog, is what we're seeing now in Final Fantasy IV. So Final Fantasy IV is making a reference to a comic about Final Fantasy III. Does that make sense so far? Hopefully that makes sense. This would be lost on everyone outside of Japan, and probably most even Japanese players. You would have to have been there at the time. Somehow I found out about it, I don't remember how. Alright, so sure is great being a frog is kind of how that is. Super NES says, what's up? ... Hey, what's wrong with talking your language? So, I don't know, like, this could just have been a straight translation. It's not reflective of the original translation, so I'm going to take off 3 points for each line in there. J2E. I love being a frog. Plenty of kisses from fair maidens. Alright, so this second line is actually made up. Take off that point. Naming way. It sure is nice being a frog. Yes, naming way got it. What do we got? So that's the deal with that line. Hopefully that stuff made sense, and I hope I didn't like bother you too much with that scary Mario manga. There's some scary stuff in there, but also a lot of funny stuff, and also just a lot of stuff that kind of goes over my head. And that scary Mario was part 1. There's part 2 was a scary Luigi on the cover, but it's multiple games. It's not just Final Fantasy and Mario. There's other games in there too. They're all kind of like taken from old issues of Famitsu and other things. You can get them online I think you can import them. Like, I think if you just even look on normal Amazon.com without going to Japan, you might be able to find it. Alright, we're talking to another frog and goes, guet, guet. And that's a pretty good frog sound. Super NES, croak, all caps. J2E, ribbit, ribbit, I love being green. Uh-oh. That's a Kermit the Frog pop reference. J2E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then right. And then naming way goes ribbit, all caps. Alright, I think there might be another one, but it might not be any different text. Yeah, the Jeremiah text. Jeremiah being green. Get over here, guy. Jeremiah. Alright. So when I take off stuff for these references, I'm doing it just as a straight translator. I know that like in Final Fantasy V, because the game is so wacky and whimsical, that people just love all those references that get added into the official GBA translation. Eventually I want to do Final Fantasy V one of this. Like, if I do it, it's going to be before I ever do 6 again, because I want to make up for the loss of 5 I had in the 90s. I want to go from 4 to 5, you know? And we'll do that. And eventually I'll revisit 6 and we'll look at like the PS1 translation and a couple others. Those are my distant plans. Alright, now we're inside the castle, the first floor. Maybe about 20 to 30 more minutes I'll go. So we're not going to make it through here. Alright, we're talking to Agart Inn here. There's an easy type change. Damshian no iki no kori ga nagare tsuite iru rashi. A survivor of Dancian has washed in here, or something like that. Nagare, it's cool. There's a couple ways they can translate. To drift into, washed ashore. Given the fact that we were on Leviathan, like the Leviathan thing happened, let's just assume that it was like washed ashore. That's how I feel. Yeah. Easy type change is unremarkable. Alright, so a survivor of Dancian drifted in here, washed ashore here, apparently. It's hearsay. Honnin wa oji to nanotteru rashii ga. The person in question claims to be a prince, but ... Super NES. A man from Dancian was found on the beach. He says he's a prince. The fact that he's a survivor of Dancian says a lot. They know the news has been reached here that Dancian was like just completely destroyed and people died, but there was a survivor who wound up here. Take off that point in Super NES for the lack of current world events. He says he's a prince. The hearsay is missing on both lines, but I won't mark off. J2E. A survivor from Dancian washed ashore recently. Recently isn't in the Japanese technically. It just is now here. He says that he was a prince or something. Okay, I'll take that. Naming way. A Dancian man washed up on the beach. Says he's a prince. So the survivor thing is missing. The tone is missing because it's all squished, but I'll say it's okay. This other guard, Toroia wa ikusa ni makikomare koto ga nai. So Toroia has never been pulled into war, has never been dragged into a war, has never been caught up in a war. That's how that goes. Yeah, okay, so they use a different word for war in the easy type. In the old version, in the original version, it's ikusa. Ikusa is just war or fighting or strife. Senso is the more common word for war, so that's what they used in both ways. Yeah, senso is war, ikusa is war, battle, campaign, or fight. Alright, so that's the easy type change. Alright, so Super NES, Toroia has never been in a war. It might have been in a war, just never dragged into one. Maybe like it has been in one on its own. There's some wiggle room in there, but I'll just skip that. If the genie gets me, then I accept it. Okay, J2E. Toroia has never been in a war before. I guess the same as I just said. Naming way. Toroia's never known war. I don't know. They're all flirting with that legal loophole stuff, but I'll allow it. Next. Moshi ikusa ni nareba watashi tachi ga dokomare kuni o mamoreru yara. ... Should we ever end up in war, who knows how far we'll be able to protect the country. There's no knowing how well we'll be able to protect the country. Alright. Super NES. I wonder how much we can actually defend ourselves. So I guess maybe that does suggest that they've never been in a war. But the phrasing on the first line suggests it's never been dragged into one or pulled into one. The weakness on that line maybe lies with the original writers then. Super NES. I wonder how much we can actually defend ourselves. The tone is different and some of the details are different, but I'll say it's okay. J2E, if we get involved in a war, what would we have to do to protect our country? No, that's not quite right. It's more like, how well will they be able to? How well will we be able to? Naming way. Toroia's never known war, but I'm sure we can protect our land. No, there's no uncertainty, so take that off. Some more guards. Kono Toroia wa onna tachi no te ni yotte mamorarete iru. So, this region of Toroia, this land of Toroia, is protected or guarded by the hands of the women. Basically, that's how that goes. Easy type, how's this look? Just a space in there. So it's protected at the hands, so it's really weird phrasing, I'll unravel things. So basically it's saying that Toroia is protected by women. Superness, Toroia is ruled by women. So that's a little weird. J2E. Toroia is protected by women, okay. Naming way, Toroia is ruled by women, take that off. Next line, warera heishi tachi mo jitsu wa minna onna sa. So all these guards, these like generic soldiers, they're actually women too. It's hard to tell. We've been assuming they're dudes all along. Alright. Super NES. Yeah, Super NES. Troops and soldiers are all women too. Me? Of course. So me, of course, is not in the original text. Troops and soldiers is weird. Just say we. We are all. We soldiers are also. J2E. We guards are also women. Heishi is more like soldier than guards, I guess, but it's fine. Okay. Naming way. Even we troops are all ladies too. Okay, that one does maybe a good job. Alright. And then we'll talk to the equivalent on the opposite side of the building. Another easy type change. A lot of easy type changes in this section of the game. Maybe this is a hint to when they started to decide to do easy type text, because we're getting a big density of it all of a sudden. Barlonga fuona ugoki o shiteru rashii ga, koko ni wa osote wa konai darou na. So it seems that Baron is making some, what is it, fuon was a good word for that. Darn. Is making some iffy, doing some iffy things. Seems Baron is making some strange movements. But let's hope, I hope they don't come attack here. That's how that kind of goes. Maybe this is better. Yeah. So that fuon was kind of tricky, even for me and that dictionary. So the easy type goes with Baron ga myona ugoki o shiteru rashii. So Baron is making some is behaving unusually. But I hope that they won't attack here. So yeah, this person has hope about something of some way. Okay, so superness seems like Baron is up to something. The second half of that line is missing. J2E. Baron's been acting up a lot recently, but they probably won't attack here. No. I can see why they would translate it this way. I don't think the translator just had enough experience yet. Naming way. Seems like Baron's up to something. ... Okay, missing that second part. Okay. Okay. There's an old lady. Let's talk to this old lady. There's also an easy type change here. Oba-san de wa nai wa. I am not an old lady. I am not a grandma. That's how that goes. Kore demo daijin jazo. I'll have you know that I am like a minister, or not the prime minister, but just like a minister. Daijin, cabinet minister. Yeah. I'll have you know that I'm a minister. Shinkan-sama tachi wa oku ni owaserareru. The clerics are further inside. Being very polite about them. So how did the easy type change? Yeah, they use a different type of verb for just the same thing. They're further inside. Still using keigo, but it's clearer keigo. Irasharu. Alright, so that doesn't change much. Super NES. I'm not an old maid, I'm the minister. 8 clerics are inside, so they've added the number 8 again. At some point, the Super NES translator decided I have to put the number 8 in there. We have to keep putting 8. We have to keep saying that there's 8 of them for some reason. Alright, I won't mark off on that. The tone is kind of weird, but I won't blame them. J2E. I'm not just some old woman, I'm the Prime Minister. No, not Prime Minister. The clerics are in the inner chamber. Naming way. Granny, how rude. I'm the Chancellor. The Epops are inside. Chancellor's fun. I don't know enough about like politics to know the differences between like a minister and a chancellor. Would have liked more like politeness regarding the Epops. That's fine. Okay, what's J2E? It's just some formatting? Okay. Now we have what looks like our 2 dancer girls. Okay. This dancer girl, well, we're going to learn that they're not actually dancers. Kore wa leotado no yoda ga wareware no sentou fuku. These seem like leotards, but they are combat outfits. Ugoki yasui shi nani shiro fashionaburu daro. They're easy to move around in. Plus, they're fashionable, wouldn't you say? Okay, that's how that goes. They changed the English word fashionaburu, fashionable, to oshare, which is like a better word that is more common and easier to say in Japanese. Oshare daro. That's the change there. Super NES. This is not a leotard, it's our combat uniform. That's fine, but the fashionable part and easy to move around part is missing, so that line is missing. So that line goes. They lose a point. J2E. These may look like leotards, but they're actually our battle gear. Alright. Quite practical, really. That's not in the original. They're easy to move in, lightweight, and comfortable. Lightweight and comfortable. Okay, I'll mark off on that, because that's not in there. The fact that they happen to be fashionable is an added bonus. Okay, that's good. Oh, they added a bunch. Yeah, the stuff I was marking off is the stuff that they added. I kind of made a good call. I could see through their tricks there. Naming way. This isn't a leotard. It's a combat uniform. The fashionable part is missing. Right. This other not dancer lady says, "Odorio odore, dance a dance? Rude na, how rude. Watashi wa kono ohe da. I am like a royal guard. That's the equivalent of those super guards back in Baron. Like I'm the personal bodyguard or something like that. Like these are the higher ranking guards. So how rude. I'm a royal guard or something like that. Dance? Super NES. Dance? Me? Who do you think I am? I am the guardswoman. It's very clunky. It gets it all across. I would have liked something better than guardswoman. Like royal guard, whatever the baron ones are called. That's what these should also be. Konoe, like here we have imperial guard, personal guard. Just calling the guardswoman. They're all guardswomen. Okay, I'll take off a point. J2E. You want me to dance? How rude. I'm a soldier. No. I just said that. Alright. Naming way. I'm no dancer. I'm a guard. Alright, same problem. And the rude part is missing. Alright. I can go left or right. Left takes us to story. Up takes us to story. So let's go right. Now, oh, I always kind of forget this layout. So now we're in a room with 3 downstairs. So now it kind of looks like in Zelda 1. Oh yeah, I'm getting kind of sleepy tired now. Alright, now we are in the basement, first floor. A really weird room. It looks like a jail cell, but it's not. Then there's a guard lady, like the Imperial Guard lady, guarding what looks like a secret room. ここは地下牢だったが、今では宝物庫になっている. This place used to be a dungeon, an underground jail cell, underground prison, but now it is a treasury, a treasure storage room. 宝物庫. Alright. Super NES. This used to be a dungeon, but we keep our treasures here now. That feels pretty clean, like not the first draft. I like it. J2E. This was an underground prison, but now it's our treasure chamber. I can pick that apart, but I'll skip it. Naming way. This used to be a dungeon, and now it's the Epop's treasury. The Epop's treasury. That's not mentioned in the Japanese. I'll take off a point there. Now it's just used or now it has become a treasury vault or something. It's giving it to them. I mean, you have to get permission from them, but for all we know, it could belong to all the people of Toroia, not just them. All right. Shinkan-sama no oyurushi ga aru no ka? Do you have the cleric's priestess's permission? Super NES. Do you have the cleric's permission? They even do the apostrophe after the S properly. That's kind of neat. J2E. Do you have the permission of the clerics? Naming way. Do you have the epop, comma S permission? That should be what I just said is the S, then comma, or S apostrophe. Take that off. J2E, what do you got in here? Nothing special? Alright. I'll say yes. Uso mo se. Chanto wakaru zo. This Zo is usually quite masculine, is very forceful sentence ender. And when like a woman warrior uses it, it lends this really fun vibe to it. I really like it when that happens, but it just falls out of translation. It's too sad. Alright, so in Japanese, it's kind of a fun way of saying, you lie. I can actually tell you no. That's how that kind of feels. Super NES. That's a lie. The second line is missing. I'll take that out. J2E kind of combines them and says, you know perfectly well that that's a lie. What was it before? Liar. I know you. I know you know. What? What? I know you know. Okay, the old J2E was kind of close, but also kind of weird. Naming way. That's a lie. Take that 1 point off there. I'm not doing the second part. Alright. I'll say no. Yokunai yatsura dai. Yatsura dai. You guys are no good. You guys are like not good people. You guys are not good guys. That's how that goes. No. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. Yoku no nai yatsura da. So you guys don't have greed. You guys don't have greed. You guys are ungreedy. Yoku no nai. Yoku, if you know Mother 3 Yokuba, like, you know, greedy, it's that Yoku. Yoku no nai yatsura da. That becomes think about it. That's weird. J2E. And do you expect to get in? That's not right. J2E used to say, you certainly are without avarice, ... God, I love that word, is what she says. So it used to be weirder, but it was still wrong. Okay. Naming Way says, honesty is noble. That's a little closer, but it's about being not greedy. So take the point off. Alright, so we can't come here yet. I mean, I could use my walk through walls code right now. Alright, now we're in another section. Some like pots and empty chests and firewood. That's firewood, right, you guys? Yeah, the avarice part had the greedy part in there. I was glad I had that. But the god part was weird. Okay, we got some Bacchus wine in this pot. They like to get drunk in Toroia. Is that it in this room? That kind of sucks. Okay, third stairs. Oh, it's this room. This room's kind of fun if I go like this. And there are a bunch of treasures in here. There's 8 treasures. Let's look through these treasures. We have a ruby ring. Oh, we didn't need to buy any. A ruby ring. Another ruby ring. I gotta remember that for next time. We have ether. High potion. Tent. And tent. Me. Oh, I'm gonna throw those tents away. I don't need these. Oh wait, my inventory's getting full. I'm gonna throw away this pass. I don't need this pass anymore. Oh, it won't let me. What a jerk. Miyamoto, why'd you do that? Alright, at some point I'm gonna have to figure out how to handle all my equipment and stuff in here. I got a lot of junk in here. I'm gonna have to go to Pawn Stars and sell all my stuff for $2. Alright. I don't want to go to the Edward Zone yet. I'm scared to walk in here right now. But do I have any time left? Crap. Let me just walk in here and see what happens. Yeah, let me talk to these 2 girls. I'll talk to these 2 girls and then we'll go out and leave. And then tomorrow we'll pick up with the actual story progression. Alright, so here we go. We're talking to 2 more leotard ladies. 2 double L's. Yaba no otoko ga kuni o osameru yori haruka ni ii. Yeah, I'm having trouble speaking. This is far better than having savage men rule the country. So there's a very strong feminist vibe happening here. And clearly they're not going to allow that in Super NES, so this becomes, I like this place better than any place else. So we'll take that out. J2E. This is much better than being ruled by a lot of savage men! Exclamation. He used to say this is a lot better than having to be ruled by a lot of boorish men. Interesting, but it's in there. Naming Way follows Super NES, unfortunately, and says, I like this place better than anywhere else. Okay, with that, alright. This other leotard lady says, Shinkan Samatachi wa Hachinin Shimai. So the priestesses are sisters 8. There are 8 sisters. Shimai. Dai Dai Kristaru ni tsukairarete iru. They serve the crystal every generation. Like over the generations they serve the crystal. Alright. Super NES. Our clerics are sisters of 8. It's interesting phrasing for a first draft, maybe. They serve for the crystal of earth. Well, first it's saying earth specifically. It's not in the Japanese, but I would like the generations thing in here. I'll take that off of Super NES, that detail. J2E. The clerics are 8 sisters. For generations, they have been the guardians of the crystal. I want to say it's more like they serve them. Is it in here? Skyaru. To serve, to work for. They have been the guardians. We used to say protected in J2E. I will say that it's okay. I don't understand what it means to serve a crystal. But okay. For generations, at least generations is in there. I like that. Naming way. The Epops are sisters of 8. Okay. They serve the earth crystal. Again, the earth was not in the original. And I would have liked the generations to be in there, so there we go. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to go walk out of here now. I'm going to actually just like walk out. This nice straight walk out of here. We talked to frogs and not dancers. And we got some treasures. They don't seem to mind. I'm going to do a cottage for no reason on top of their castle. I don't have a license to camp there, but they don't mind. Okay, let me take a last look at my inventories. Make sure I didn't like miss anything of interest. Do some cleanup checks. Okay. I don't know how much of this stuff I can just throw out now. I've got a lot of ruby rings. Okay. Oh, I guess I'll deal with all this stuff later. Alright. Let me do a save, and I'll do a save state. Alright. So, currently, if you're curious, the scoreboard has Super NES at -462. J2E has hit -390, and Naming Way is at -443. Today's been kind of like a crazy whirlwind of a day. Super NES took a great beating in that Hostess Club area. Meanwhile, J2E was doing some more of its cultural references, unwarranted. And Naming Way still just continues to fight with space issues. I think if the space issues weren't an issue, it would be pretty good. Yep, okay, so that's the current score. We'll come back on Monday. Currently it's Friday, so a couple days we'll come back, and then we will go finish the rest of this castle. We'll talk to Edward, we'll talk to the clerics, then we'll head to the Chocobo Forest, then we'll head to the Magnetic Cave. Then we'll come back to the castle. More story will happen. Then Kane will show up, and maybe that's what we'll stop that tomorrow. That's how I'm seeing it. I mean, not tomorrow, Monday. That's how I envision it. Right. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for all the Chocobo jokes. If you guys have any more, please post them on YouTube. This will post us on YouTube later tonight. For now, I'm going to end and go eat and go talk to Poe about things. See you guys later.